Secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a rocky mountain high, get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners, and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in colorful Colorado. It is Saturday, November 28th, Sunday, November 29th, for those of you across the pond and beyond. Welcome to We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. I'm so glad you guys could join us this evening. I'm your host, TessaTNT, and I hope you guys had an awesome week so far, a good Thanksgiving. I hope you ate way too much, took lots of naps, and got to put your feet up. So glad you guys could join us this evening. I'm your host, TessaTNT. Thank you for being on our Spreaker outlet. That's where you're listening right now. If you're listening live, feel free to come into the chat room with a bunch of bloody wankas just hanging out and, sharing their opinions and just talking back and forth, basically, sometimes not even paying attention to the show. That's how I like it. You can also find us on Twitter, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Google did not want to come out. iTunes, iHeartRadio, CastBox, Tumblr, YouTube, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, Deezer, as well as Podcast Addict. So I have a treat for all my guys and gals out there tonight. Tonight we have the Paradox Paranormal Forum featuring Mr. Rick Kirkby from the UK, and I'm not exactly sure what part.
Oh. Northeast
UK. And then we have...
Lincolnshire.
Nice. And then we have Miss Mia Savage from now Durango, Colorado, right? Or are you Bayfield? You're in Colorado still. Or did you fly
Bayfield,
back to...
technically.
Nice. So
I'm back in the cold. I'm still in the cold.
Yeah, you haven't flown south yet. She's our snowbird. She usually flies south for the winter, but she seems to have gotten stuck. And then we have...
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. It hasn't been too bad, except for I got acclimated to California and Arizona for a month, and I still haven't gotten back on track. But I got a lot of I got 2 pairs of warm, fuzzy pajamas. I was going to wear them tonight, but I decided to dress nicely. Some fuzzy socks, 2 pairs of slippers, one for inside and one that I can go outside and get wooden stuff in because it's got the soles. And a nice, really nice fuzzy robe. So I think I'm going to be pretty warm this winter. And then we have SleepyDave Davenport. I always want to say Phoenix, Arizona, but you're more in the Scottsdale area?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble with this phone. Can you hear me all right?
Yep, I can hear you now.
All right. Yes. Yes, Scottsdale. Yeah. You wouldn't know, there was, as a friend of mine I used to work with say, you wouldn't know the apocalypse was going on living in Scottsdale. He's like, except for the mask. Because other than that, he's from Australia. And, I don't work with him anymore. So I'll just say who it is. Now that I don't work with him, y'all can go look. What was his name? Josh. Anyway, he was on that Australian cooking show, My Kitchen or My something or other. He's in the 19th season. And if I had the internet handy, which is funny, or another device, I'd give his last name, but
would that be My Kitchen Earls?
Yeah. He was in season 19. His name's Josh. I forget his last name, but he's a really cool guy. I worked with him at Fry's.
All right. No worries.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't know the scope of his internet, I guess, celebrity is. I don't, because he was just a regular dude to me, the guy I worked with. So, but it was funny because he'd send me stuff like, check out my new interview. I'm like, oh my God, 2 million views or whatever. So it was kind of neat. But he says a lot of Australia. He was telling me about a lot of the stuff they're trying to implement with the lockdowns before they kind of went public. The protests and whatnot would send me links, stuff going on, I guess. And what city was it? I forget.
I believe that's in Melbourne.
Was it the state of Victoria?
Yeah, it's in Melbourne's in Victoria. So yeah, I'd say it would be in Victoria.
So
They have the big mansion type of thing where they do all the cooking inside, and yeah, it's a big set basically where they just stock with the brand name foods from one certain store, Woolworths.
he said that they wanted him to do season 20,
Yeah.
and he didn't want to do it. And I said, why not? And he said, well, he says, this is what it's like behind the scenes. He says, it's 16 to 17 hours a day. He says, no joke. He says, I've seen people collapse, not wanting to get up in the morning, literally crying and crawling. He's like, oh my God, man. He's like, and this is the stuff they don't show on the camera.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It's like
it was
boot
just
camp.
terrifying. Yeah, it would terrify the contestants, basically. Because by the time
you don't want to see this.
By the time you get down to the kitchen, you're just so like, you know, it's like cooking is kind of relaxing because it's like the only thing that you do is but you just go, 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 go. And he says, and then they, you know, try to create friction. And he says everybody's out to backstab each other and fucking. It's like worse. He says if you think what goes on the you know TV is bad, he goes that's nothing compared to. He says I couldn't do it. He says it was hard for me. He goes I almost didn't last. But really, he says oh they were after me. They all hated me. I was like really, you know. So I don't know. But he said he wouldn't do it again. That he wanted to do other stuff. So other than that, I'm glad that. You know, I haven't been on the air because they've been switching my schedule up like crazy at work. So
motherfuckers.
Yeah, but some pretty weird paranormal things. The other day, I'm in the bathroom. I just get out of the shower.
James Charles here.
We're all on the air. That was Melody.
Hello, Mel.
Hi. What's up?
All right.
Wasabi.
So I'm trying to tell him about what happened. Anyway, so I get out of the shower and I have this bottle of eyeglass cleaner for Melody. And just as I get out of the shower, I wrap a towel around myself. I look up at this thing and it literally falls over. I witnessed this thing falling over by itself. I'm like, no way. So that's like the latest thing that's moved in my house. And anything hasn't moved in about a month or two, except for that the other day. So we'll kind of start off with, I don't know what we're talking about, but that's a little paranormal thing going on over here.
Nice. And then we have Mr. Robert White. I always want to say Queensland, Australia, but that's Andy, right? Or is that you? What part of Australia are you from?
Yeah, that's me, Queensland.
I actually got it right. I doubted myself.
Yes. Yes, this is the home of Brisbane.
Brisbane.
Brisbane. The bane of your existence.
The bane of my daughter's existence.
That's true.
It is very true. But so great to have you. So
your toy of SleepyDave.
So like it's all hot over here and all cold over there. Like I think we need to get together and share some weather so it could be a nice easy kill.
Yep, I think so.
Maybe 71.
Meet in the middle somewhere.
Barbecue. Throw another shrimp on the barbie. Okay, so I got kind of
what if she's allergic to shellfish?
Right? Then what do you do?
Yeah, they don't consider that.
So the other night, Andy had said that you guys had signed with China and Russia or something instead of the U.S. And me and Nikki just sat there and blinked like, I didn't know what to say. Like, what the hell is going on with that? So what exactly does that cover? Is that as far as like a treaty or, you know, if you go to war, we'll go to war with you? Or what exactly did that cover? You don't know? China.
Well, I know that China's upped the tariff rates on wine coming over from here. They've marked that up by about, I think, 60%, 20%.
Holy shit.
Something that had been costing $20 to send over now costs $60 to send over. And that's a cheap bottle of wine. So anything more expensive than that, the price is just going to keep going up and up and up. So we really should retaliate and start hiking the price up on them.
Right? Yeah, from what I understood, it was something to do with, like, as far as militarily, we're in a pact or a treaty or whatnot, to where if you go to war, we'll go to war with you. And Andy was saying something like, well, I guess they're just tired of the U.S.'s shit. Yeah, I understand that because Trump is just fucking insane. But, yeah, I was just like, seriously? So, like, we have this landmass the size of our country, and then we have China and Russia and all these people. And then somebody had shared a link with me the other day about a little girl that passed away, and she saw the whole World War III, which I've been feeling like for years has been coming. And could see it happening at any point now. So it just kind of raised the hairs on my arms. You know, you get the paranormal hair raise, and that's just like something serious is gonna happen. Hair raise thing going on.
Most certainly.
I think the next 10 years are going to be very interesting. There's like this whole timeline between 2020 and 2030 and the New World Order, and you know, our currency systems go, you know, changing, and conspiracy theorists are all thinking that they're going to try to get rid of our banking system and currency system and move it to, you know, cryptocurrency and implants and everything else. I don't know. We'll see. Something's happening. Everyone feels it. Right. You know, if it's not the virus, there's going to be something else that's coming after that.
Well, the major thing that I think is going to go wrong with that is if they change the money society to being electronic, somebody just needs to come along with an EMP and set that off, and that will wipe out anything electronic. You won't have access to your money.
Mm-hmm. That's ridiculous.
Exactly. That's, you know, that's what a lot of people are worried about, being reliant on the government, you know, during that process would be, you know, mandatory vaccines. I'm all for vaccines. I'm not anti-vax, but they're already, you know, they're like the Ticketmaster website. They basically throw all the concerts here. It says clearly on their website they're going to require people to have vaccines to attend concerts.
Jeez.
And you have to show that. If you go to the Ticketmaster website, you can see that it says that in the future they're going to implement you have to have proof of your vaccination before attending a concert, which doesn't bother me as an introvert. But, you know, I mean, that's just one company. That's basically, they are the kingpins when it comes to putting on, you know, all of the concerts that we have. I mean, they're the top company for that. That's just one company. I mean, I can only imagine how many more.
Sandra in the chat room was like, this is why mattresses were stuffed back in the day. And that's the first thing that came to my thought process when you guys were talking about that. You know, people putting money in their walls, money in their floors, money in their mattresses, wherever they could hide it to have it at hand, because they're like, put your money in banks, and then all that money would go away. And that's how they did it back in the day, because they didn't have cards or electronic, you know, money or whatnot. So they're like, put it all in the bank, and then, you know, they take that, it's all gone, and you have nothing. Weird. Jojo says, prepare for some social credit system.
Wow, that was...
What, Sleepy?
Nothing. My network just froze just for a minute, that's all.
Weird. Yeah, it just got really quiet on that end. But Mia, continue with what you were saying. I just had to add that because that came to mind when you guys were talking about money going to credit card or chip or whatnot.
Yes. Well, I have heard this. I try to stay like Switzerland. I try to not tune into that fear-based type of energy. I think that can really mess with your head. And I've been there before, and I would have all these dreams and stuff. And I kind of have pulled out of that. But I have heard multiple times, well, like a year ago or less than a year ago, when people started, the conspiracy theorists, as you call them, basically started talking about how they would have mandatory vaccines, everyone was like, oh, you're going overboard. They'll never do that. And here that is, they can't make you do that. But there is some sort of a bill that you cannot sue either the doctors or the manufacturers of the vaccine here. You're not allowed to. It's covered. It was in like 78 or something like that. I'm not sure. But basically under that act, you as a person, if someone takes this vaccine that only takes, and I'm not trying to tell people not to take vaccines. If I was 55 or older, I would probably take it, or 65 or older, I would probably do it, just because why not?
No, I want to see how it goes. I'll let every other sheeple or whatever go in first.
Maybe in
go
15
on,
years.
Continue on. Do what you're doing, and I'll see what the side effects are, just like in Russia. Put it out there real quick. They started taking it. I actually shared a picture of Putin with boobs. This is a side effect of this injection. But yeah, you never know what's going to happen. They say it's all good. They have this really good one that doesn't have all these other things in it, and it'll be a good thing. Sounds really great and all, but I'll let the next person do it. And Jim in Scotland, our friend here on We Are Paradox Media that helps with the page and funding us and everything, he was saying he's never taken the flu vaccine, and they're doing videos that they have to watch on the coronavirus, videos on the flu, so on and so forth. He's never taken a flu vaccine, never will, he said. And as far as this vaccine goes, I think he's on the same page as, I'm going to let that go and let other people go through that and see what happens, observe and take account, and then decipher from there what you're going to do. Don't just jump on board. Heck yeah, let's do this. Like, I don't travel anywhere anyways, I'm generally at home, so why do I need the vaccine?
If we look at the Spanish flu, what happened with the Spanish flu, they required the masks, lots of, it was a big, huge mass panic. And then they got the vaccine, and everyone who took it, it did nothing. And that's actually best case scenario, people taking the coronavirus vaccine and it not helping, or it mutates again, and then they have to just keep changing it, just like the flu vaccine and everything else. I don't trust anything that comes out. Our bodies build up natural immunities to things. I hate to say it, but I'm almost like, if I get the virus, I will be happy. And this sounds so messed up, but then I will have developed some antibodies to it, hopefully. And I will have gotten it over with as well, because the fear of getting it is probably worse than just getting it and being sick for the majority of us. And I mean, yes, I know they say it's unpredictable, and there are people who are perfectly healthy who get it and, have died and all that stuff. I don't know personally, but
we both know two people personally that have had healthy. It. Yeah, we have Jamie who has health issues. We have Mel who also has health issues. I think she's got asthma or something going on. I know Jamie really does. But they both had it, came through it with flying colors. So, I don't fear it, but when I go out in public, I take precaution. Using my common sense. Of course. This layer may not protect me, but at least I have a layer in front of my face instead of being free-for-all. What's going to be out there. And they say the droplets can live in the atmosphere for a certain amount of time. Like, what the hell was it? Like 26 or whatever, 64 hours. It was weird. But yeah, I'm not paranoid. I'm just taking precautions. And my husband is just like, la-di-da, I'm just going to go in the store. Well, this place is safe. I don't have to wear a mask here. I'm like, what the hell, dude? Like, you're going against every precaution I've taken to protect my kids because you're like, oh, this place is safe. I'm not going to wear a mask here. Why? Why? We have kids. And that's my worry, is my kids, especially Nova. She's got a compromised immune system. I don't want to see what happens if she gets it. You know what I mean? That's why I'm going through the hell of homeschool.
Exactly. And not only that, I mean, it's good because you're not spreading it to other people, keeping, that's my biggest worry would be that I would give it to someone unknowingly and be a carrier, I mean, that would be horrible. That's that's something you don't. So it's not just for your own health, it's for others, and to make people happy. I mean, I'm not going to dispute wearing a mask. I'm not going to dispute anything, to make other people help. You have to care about other people too, not just yourself. If I did have it, I would isolate even more than I already am, just to prevent other people from getting it. I wouldn't be a jerk and go to the store. I'd have someone do it for me, or do my best to not, put myself in quarantine.
I want to be in quarantine. I'm just kidding. Can I just stay in my room for 14 days and not have to do anything? That'd be great. Thanks. But no, really, it would suck. And we know people that have gone through it, and it's like you get that early cabin fever because winter has not even started, not until the 21st of December. But poor Mel had to go through it, and she's going crazy over there with cabin fever. She got to get out of quarantine and go back to work, which I think is still online because we here are in a red state. The next one up is purple. The numbers have just spiked, and they're blaming it on Halloween. I don't know. I didn't get any trick-or-treaters. I bet Mia didn't.
Nope, never have, unfortunately.
I'm going to trick-or-treat at your house someday.
That'd be nice. I never
Right.
have an excuse to buy candy.
I know, and so many people didn't, so there was a lot of candy on sale this year. If you guys want your ticket for diabetes, there you go.
Some of that candy is so sweet, but the one thing I do love about Halloween candy is you get that kind of candy that I'm still talking about Halloween because in my mind it's not over. But you get that good Halloween only candy that they don't sell. Like my favorite is those fruity Tootsie Rolls. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those things are good. And you only see them around Halloween.
Yeah, and then there's those ones that are wrapped in either black or orange paper, and everybody's like, what the fuck is this candy? Does anybody like this stuff? And it kind of tastes like peanut butter.
Yes.
But the person that designed it supposedly was so ashamed of it that they never gave it a name. But I liked it. I liked all candy when I was trick-or-treating, and like the plethora of flavors. Robert just posted the angry orange freak toilet brush there. I want one of those if anyone would like to send me one. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Robert, Rick, and Sleepy, you guys are awful quiet. Anybody want to pipe in with anything happening recently? Sleepy talked to us about his paranormal stuff, and I'm still questioning. What was it in the background that fell over when you were looking in the mirror, or... I was multitasking and didn't get quite the full story.
It was a bottle of eyeglass cleaner, for glasses that I bought, that I got for Melody. It was just standing up, next to the toothbrushes and whatever and all the other stuff. And as I got out of the shower and put it all on, I looked up and it just fell over. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? I just saw that. So, yeah.
Have you guys had other stuff going on paranormally as well?
No, I hear stuff, like I'll go to bed at night and I'll hear stuff banging around in the kitchen. Like if somebody to walk over to and then knock it with their knuckle, like that kind of sound. Just stuff that just doesn't, but it's few and far between. Yeah, like that Melody. Melody walks over to the stove. She's like this, starts knocking on it. I'm like, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So she hears it too. Does she ever run in there to your bed? Dad, can I sleep in here tonight? Or does she just she's fearless and stays in her own bed?
No, she stays in her own room. When she's out, she's out. I mean, I think a herd of elephants could run through the home and she would still not wake up. So
that's amazing. I wish I could do that.
Forget
a woman
it.
After my own heart.
A bird chirps, man. I wake up. What was that?
When I was a teenager, I could sleep for days and nothing would wake me up. But after the military, I hear a step I hear a flick of the switch, I hear anything. I'm like, what's going on? What do you need? My daughter always tries to sneak in my room to grab my husband's cell phone or some change or whatever. And I'm like, what are you doing?
I know, it's like...
Oh my gosh, that's what Ross does to me. Like, I'll get up to go to the bathroom. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I may look awake, but I'm really not. And pretty much I will sleep through almost anything. Like, it's weird, but it's falling asleep that I struggle with. Like, just in general, falling asleep. So if I don't fall asleep right when I get sleepy, then I'm up all night. Like, if I feel that initial
lull,
sleepiness,
yes,
then I'm like, I have to go to bed now, otherwise I'm gonna get this weird spurt of energy and I'm gonna be up all night, because that's what always happens.
The second wind. Yeah, that's the issue I have is she comes in or something happens, like my husband's leaving, saying goodbye or whatever, so I wake up and it's a struggle to get back to sleep. It could take a while. This last week I've really been taking advantage of sleeping in because I can't do that anymore because I'm doing homeschool, but this last week I'm like, it's Thanksgiving break, we should be working it because we're catching up, but they need a break, you know, they've been working hard to catch back up on their homeschool for the month I was gone, and they're doing really good. Lily even got a letter in the mail from her teacher and support staff saying what a good job she was doing. And that gave her, like, some more momentum, you know what I mean? Because she's like, I hate school. Like, once she gets going, she does really good. But once she got that letter, that gave her that extra oomph to keep going.
Yeah, it's important. Encourage him.
Mm-hmm.
There's Melody. She has her days where she does not want to go to school. And it's a battle.
Yeah, it seems the older they get, the worse it is. Yeah, okay, so going back into the paranormal, have any of you guys seen the article about, I believe it's a monolith or something, in the desert in Utah?
Yeah, I saw the file on that one.
Yes.
Yeah. They believe that they had to either helicopter it in or truck it in.
Yeah, because there's no tracks, really, as far as truck tracks or excavator or skidster or anything to implant this thing or bring it in. Nothing. So it had to be helicopter or something like that. Yeah. And it has to be down in the ground. Otherwise, that would have blown over a long time ago. Perhaps that's why they put it into that little cubby of the canyon. But, I'm trying to think of who it was. I want to say Dark Hour Paranormal, but that's not what it is. But this guy was like, I'm pretty sure I see rivets or something on this, which I look close and, you know, there's little fractions and changes of light, but I haven't seen any close-up photos to see if there are rivets and pins and stuff in this. Have you guys seen any close-up videos or pics of this?
Not yet, just what they've shown on Facebook, just with the one big bar of it. So, but yeah, it has to be buried into the ground as well, otherwise it would have fallen over quite easily.
Yeah, there's too much wind out there.
The Simpsons predicted it.
Really?
There's an episode of yes.
They predict everything.
I'm trying to find a picture. I'm trying to find a picture. Also, there's an episode of the what is it called? Oh my gosh, I'll think of it. But there's another show, The Outer Limits. One of the Outer Limits episode has almost that exact looking object.
And they said the Outer Limits is coming back, and it's some sort of, you know, advertisement ploy. Like, it's coming back out, so here's an advertisement ploy for this show, because everybody's like, monolith, and it goes along with the Outer Limits show, and so it's going to get more, you know, pings or whatnot on the internet. Could it be? Like, who would do that?
It's weird. I just watched that episode a few months ago, and then when I saw that, I was like, no way. You know, yes. And there's an episode of The Outer Limits. It's like this giant object like that, and it's protected by military, and this professor is taking his students there. And as it turns out, like, they all have a role, and it turns into like a craft. And he like puts his hand on it or whatever, and they just shoot up into the sky. It's crazy.
Whee! That sounds crazy.
Apparently, according to the internet, it says historical imaging data reflects that the monolith arrived sometime between August 2015 and October 2016, leaving open a fairly significant gap of time. But these dates indicate it was roughly around the time the epic sci-fi drama Westworld was being filmed nearby, and it says it could well be behind by crew and various other things has been filmed in and around that location over the years, which could account for something being left behind, but that's all it sort of says about it. What I can find, I'll share that link.
I've only just recently gotten the third season of Westworld. I haven't seen it yet, but if they show something like that, I'll let you know.
Right? I love that show. It's like really fucked up, but really cool. I'm all pulling for the AI, like, because man, humans are consumers and they're just consuming these things, you know. They're repeatedly dying and all these other things, and, you know, they actually gain intelligence. That's what freaks me out about AI is they're constantly gaining intelligence and becoming smarter than we ever hope to be in certain ways. I don't think they'll ever have the common sense aspect of that, but holy shnikes, all these sci-fi movies and stuff you see about AI, I try not to talk to it. When I was down in Arizona a couple years ago, my sister's like, hey sis, I know you like this paranormal stuff and I just saw this AI challenge. So do you want to try it on your phone? And I'm like, oh my God, I don't ever use AI on my phone. And she's like, well, you want to try it? So we did. And we asked her different questions. I think it was the Siri 3 a.m. challenge or something like that. And didn't really get anything. You know, she was being pretty schmug and stick in the mud or whatnot. But the next day I'm walking through my mom's house holding my phone. And all of a sudden Siri comes through and says, did you summon me? And I'm like, hell no, I didn't. Go away, Siri, go away.
Oh my gosh. That keeps happening to me, and I don't know what it is, if it's because I'm wearing my earpods or earbuds or whatever they're called. Anyway, yeah, that's happened to me like every day, I think, for like the past few days, just randomly at the weirdest times. And then I just sit there quietly, like, think of something clever. No, that's weird. And then I just shut it off.
So Joe in the Slap Boy said that the monolith is the new 6G antenna. Yay! I'm so excited.
Ugh, can we just build a time machine already? Like, I've had this conversation multiple times. I just need a time machine. I'm gonna go back. I don't want to go forward. This is too much already. Like, I want to go back. I want to enjoy the 1980s, you know, properly, and
right. I wish I was
and
older.
the 90s properly. Exactly. Like, I mean, it would be amazing. Because yes, you know, being born in the 80s and the 90s and whatever, you still don't get to enjoy it as you would in your like 20s, 30s, teens, whatever. And so I want to go back. I want to enjoy the 80s in like my mid 20s or something like that. Yeah, it'd be amazing. I'd go see Prince so many times.
Oh yeah. You know what?
I've been on a Prince kick all like it's crazy.
Last year when I went to New Orleans and then, first Arkansas, then New Orleans, then back to Arkansas. And on Halloween, we went and saw this Prince band. It's like a remake of the band, and it was just awesome. Like, we were dancing the whole time, and it was so much fun. I loved it. Such an energy. I don't know. The 80s were cool. I would have liked to be older back then. I was only, 3 to 12 during those times? No, 3 to... What the crack? Okay, so Rick just shared a link. I don't know what it is. Okay, so it's been there for a while. Like, why, if this monolith has been there for a while, are they just now reporting on it on the news? I don't get it. I wish I could click on the link, but I can't, because it'll mess this whole thing up. But yeah, 80s would have been fun. We could rewind, not be dealing with all this freaking crap and drama and stuff. It'd be nice. Where's the time machine, Marty? That's what I want to know. Okay, so another thought I had as far as questions, if you guys don't have any, Dybbuk boxes. Have you guys ever known anyone who has dealt with or had any experience with a Dybbuk box, and what exactly do you think it is? We'll start with... Let's go with Robert.
Well, I've heard of them. I haven't actually known anyone that's had them. But from what I've heard of them, yeah, it somehow traps the spirit inside the box, and it will then, well, I don't know if it forces it to talk, but it will give out messages from the spirit that's trapped in the box. So whether they use some sort of crystals to get it to talk or not, I don't know. But as I said, I haven't actually seen one in action. But from what I've heard, yeah, it's basically just a box that will let spirits talk through it, sort of like the electronic versions, but apparently there's no electronics in it. I don't know.
Okay. Next we'll go to Rick. We're just going up the line. Rick, what are your thoughts on a Dybbuk box? What exactly is it? And have you had any experience with one or known someone who has?
Sorry, I was muted. Then, yeah. I'm trying to rack my brain as it is gone 3:30 in the morning for me. I was going to say Polish, but it could be wrong. But Dybbuk, I think it means ghost in either Polish or one of those. I'm not sure, I'll have to look it up. But basically, it's believed that they trap spirits, sometimes evil spirits, I would imagine that's what you'd want to trap. And they put all sorts of different crystals and things inside them and bind them with various things, and then put wax all over the box. And then apparently that's then got this spirit inside, and there's lots of people open them, buy them on eBay for silly money, and open them on YouTube and make videos and have things flying about and various things happen. But from what I can see, a lot of people buy them, open them, nothing really happens, or their own psychological reasoning, thinking that it's got an evil spirit and they've opened it, and then things happen or they don't happen, but they perceive them to be evil or whatnot, and their own psychological nature takes over because they're expecting something bad, and then they send themselves crazy and have to get people in to do some clearing of the house or whatnot. But I've seen them for sale. I think people make a lot of money out of them. If you could easily contain a evil spirit, or any spirit for that matter, into a box with some crystals and some rope and some wax, then that would have been a different Ghostbusters movie when they sent the traps out.
Right?
But apparently, yeah, people get into witchcraft and they invoke certain things and they try to bind them with crystals and various things and seal them in boxes. And the Dybbuk, like I said, I can't remember if it's Polish or one of those Romanian or something name. It's ghost box. And
I thought it was Hebrew or Jewish or something.
Yeah, it could
Hebrew,
be Jewish.
yeah.
Recognized cassette.
Yeah, but it's. I think it's just pretty much made up. I mean, I've never heard of anybody trapping.
I would agree with that, except. Okay, go ahead, Robert, first.
Wouldn't you love to have that be one of those things that those porch thieves steal?
Right? You order one of those and they
real,
steal it and it
they'd
wreaks
take it.
havoc on their life. Woo!
Shit.
What have I unleashed on myself?
I
Karma
think
in
once
action.
somebody gets something into their head that something's going to happen because you do this, so you do that. They'll just attribute it to that.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of, the only count that I acknowledge as far as somebody that didn't really know what they were buying when they bought it. It was an auction of somebody's house. Basically, this woman passed away, so they're selling off of all of her things at an auction. And this guy saw this cabinet, decided to buy it, and bought a few other things from there because he had like an antique store or whatnot. And he was just drawn to this box, and he bought it. And as he was taking it away, this lady had mentioned something. Oh, you bought the Dybbuk box. That's interesting. Well, I hope everything works out all right. And he put all the rest of the stuff in the back of the store to be marked for sale, and kept this special for his mother because her birthday was coming up soon. And I think before she even got it, there were different things going on in the store. The girl that worked there was going down to do inventory in the garage basement thing, the basement, and she got locked in there. The lights were turned off and different things were being thrown around throughout the store. The boss finally got there to let her out and thought, she just wanted to quit her job and she had to do this whole hoopla, and he didn't even believe that anything paranormal had happened besides the fact that how could she be locked in the basement when you can only lock it from the outside? And he didn't do it, so, like, who did? But his mother, when he gave it to her for her birthday, I believe it was, as soon as she opened it, she had a stroke. And then different bad things were happening after that. Once he got rid of it, all that stuff went away, and his mom was able to, even, through her stroke period, was pointing at the box and trying to talk about the box, but she couldn't really enunciate because she had a stroke. But he finally got rid of it and sold it to somebody, and all those things went away. His mom came back to health, and she was so glad he sold it. But he didn't buy it in the belief that it was a Dybbuk box and to do something with it as far as a video, like a lot of people trying to get subscribers and such. But he bought it accidentally, just thought it was a really pretty cute little, kind of jewelry box, but not. And it was kind of automated too, the way it was. It had some mechanics going on with it, but he didn't think of anything as far as Dybbuk box and anything evil happening, and things did happen. But there are people that buy it, and who knows, are they overreacting just to get subscribers, or what is actually happening? I don't know if you guys heard about Post Malone when he went to Zach Baggins' haunted house thing there, and he had a Dybbuk box, and after Post Malone went and messed with the Dybbuk box, had a car accident and such. Could be in your head, because the mind is a powerful thing, or it could be something actually happening.
But had he have not messed about with it and had a car accident, nobody would have said anything or tried to attribute it to anything. So would have never mentioned it. So it's just a little bit silly. He could have said, "Oh well, I accidentally stood on a black cat and did this and the other and walked under a ladder, and then I had a car accident." But he could have done one of those things and still had a car accident. So.
Yeah, and I actually heard black cats are actually good luck. But let's go to sleep. Yeah, don't kill that cat. I knew people in the past that would swerve to hit him. I'm like, dude, quit doing that. Sleepy, what are your thoughts on the Dybbuk box? Do you think it's a reality? Somebody in the past trapped this demon or spirit in this box, and now people are messing around with it like it's a joke? Or do you think that there is some sort of background to it? What are your thoughts on what it is?
Keep thinking that Steve Martin movie. Was it the man with two brain, or All of Me? It was All of Me. And they used a Dybbuk box to capture Lily Tomlin's spirit, and
Holy
then it opened and her spirit. Remember that?
I don't remember that part. That's crazy.
Yeah, they were doing the ceremony, and they got the spirit in her box, and something happened, and the girl tripped and it fell out the window, and Steve Martin was walking, and it landed right on his head and bopped open, and essentially her spirit went into his, and he could hear everything, and she controlled one part of his body, and he controlled the other, and all that. And yeah. But,
that is so funny. That was one of my favorite movies, and I don't remember that part. That's cool.
Yeah, but I think, there are spirits that are linked to, or that are attached to, what was the term? Brian was talking about this the other day on a broadcast. When I think of it, or if I hear it, I'll mention it later. But they're not totems, they're charms. But these charms aren't just any charms. They're actual, they can have an entity attached to it, or you can make a structure and actually make a portal and bring these things in. So they're not anything to be messed with. So I think a divot box would be much like it. Probably. Be my guess. I never messed with one.
Me neither. And I don't look forward to ever doing so. Mia, what about you? What are your thoughts on such a thing?
I think there's two things that it could be and two things that are going on. I know that I have bought haunted objects in the past that brought with them multiple things. One of which was actually a box, which is ironic. Not a Dybbuk box, but I bought this box that was made in Indonesia, and they have some sort of a voodoo in Indonesia called it's like Santet or Sante or something like that. And all I know is after I brought that box home, it was like all hell had broken loose, and with my mom and I both being like super sensitive, and my mom sensed it. It was like a wooden box with a skeleton on it, right? And I thought it was cool, I was a teenager and I'm like, yeah, I can put my stash in there or whatever in my mind. But my mom told me she got the creepiest vibe from it, and I would just have nightmares, and I can't remember exactly what was the turning point was where I was like, I have to get rid of this. But I also got a bass guitar which actually had a ghost attached to it, a girl. And so I think there's two different things that it could be as far as the Dybbuk box. We have like the Hebrew or Jewish kind of voodoo type thing. It's not voodoo, but they have like a certain kind of like a magic belief thing where maybe they do some type of like a spell. Could be like black magic of some kind. Or it could be literally a negative spirit that is attached to an object, because they say that they put demons or evil spirits in there in the Dybbuk box. So it could literally be a spirit that's connected to it, or it could literally be more like a spell or some type of a Santorini, something like that.
Santeria.
Santeria. I don't practice Santeria.
I ain't got no crystal ball. Well, what do you think it is, Tess? Well, if I had to say what I thought it was. Well, I think there's old magic used in so many different parts of the country, and I think back in the day, if you had an evil spirit or demon or poltergeist or whatnot that was causing constant havoc, you could, like you said, cast this spell to draw it into the box, and then put different things oriented with this, or you find so many different things in a Dybbuk box. And then you seal it up with wax with your intention of keeping it sealed for all time and eternity. And you hold on to it forever until you die. And then people sometimes don't know because, this one particular box I was talking about, Grandma, what's this Dybbuk box? She's like, she did something, I can't remember what it was, like rolled her tongue or something, and then she said, never mention the Dybbuk box. And so nobody would ever bug her about it, so nobody knew what exactly it was, because she didn't want to talk about it. She felt if she talked about it, it'd give it power. But I think things like that can be trapped due to intention or spells or whatever you could be doing, whatever you believe in, and those are meant to never be opened. And like Rick was saying, these online people that are doing YouTube channels are buying these Dybbuk boxes. I know this one group, I think it's TFIL or TM something. I just watched them earlier because I like to watch paranormal junk on YouTube. I'm addicted. But they actually had not just one, but like 3 different ones. But they took this one particular Dybbuk box to a place and opened it, and this guy proceeded to burn different things that were in the Dybbuk box and then put back other certain things and then supposedly resealed it. But it's like, do you know what you're actually doing? And he's talking about, Post Malone and all these other things that have happened, and people having fear about it because they don't know the reality, and the fear is what feeds it, so on and so forth. So I'm doing this so we can prove that this isn't real. to see if the paranormal is going to kick up or not, so on and so forth. So, I don't know. It was just weird. There was a lot of different things in there, one being a thing to put out candles, a bag, like a medicine bag, certain different relics in there, but he did burn something, so I wonder if burning that and then putting back the partial package and then sealing it, does that still release something? I don't know. There's so many questions about it. Is it real? Is it fake? Are they just trying to, get likes?
Or are we attracting it with our fear?
Yeah. Or feeding it? I don't know. So is it real? Is it not? And I guess that's what they were trying to prove. I did all this that nobody would ever think of doing. Just opening one is bad. So what if I burn all these things and then put the rest of it back? What's going to happen now? So I'm like, where's part 3? I need to see what happened. If it's real, if it's not, whatnot. You can decipher. You can tell. Like, I can tell when somebody's BSing, but it's just interesting. I think those things should be, when the person passes away, the thing should be buried and wrapped in something and have some sort of ceremony about it. But then somebody later on will dig it up, unless you have instructions in there that won't be corroded by the earth or what. Yeah, and then I fear, like, that was a thought that crossed my mind, but if you burn it, that releases it, right? So, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. I'm so confused.
All I know is I burn things that I'm unsure of.
And you've never...
Burn it.
Burn it. Have you ever had a negative effect doing so?
No. Other than putting intentions. See, okay. Like, I don't practice witchcraft. I do not. But everyone goes through a phase in which they try it at some point. Not everyone, but especially girls, prepubescent and, preteen and teenager girls will always do that at one point. So the only thing that I had that was adverse was me attempting to do some type of a spell that it required, like a burning of a piece of paper or something like that. Completely backfired. Never do it. Never did again. And but that's different. That was completely different. That wasn't just burning an object with no intention behind it. I think it might have to do with the intention that you put behind it. Mm-hmm. If you cleanse it from your mind, and just like that attraction thing, or yes I did. Proud of it. We all did. But if
Rick just said, "Mia, watch The Craft." That's
watch
what
The
she
Craft.
said. Yes,
Yes,
I did.
Yes. Yes. I think girls nowadays still even watch that movie at some age, at some point in time. I don't know. I could be wrong. But I think it's the intention that you put behind it. Maybe if you burn the object and you just completely eliminate it from your mind, I think that seems to me like it would work.
So when you burn it, you don't just burn it, you burn it with intention, correct?
Kind of, but just with the intention of it being gone, just in your mind. When you burn it, your thoughts of whatever it was go with it, if that makes sense. You release it. It's not really an intention. It's more just like a mindset, rather than the intention to force something to happen. Light as a feather, stiff as a board. Did that. I don't mess with Ouija boards. I don't mess with witchcraft. I don't think that any of that. I think there's a difference between law of attraction and magnetizing things to come to you, mm-hmm. rather than trying to force things to go your way. It's like manipulation with the law of attraction. I just don't believe it.
Well, on that note, we do have to go to our first musical break. On this break, we have... And I know that Robert's so happy he's not listening to the show. We have some reggae tonight. We have King Cinnamon from Biafra, Nigeria, with Ale Imo Ederella. We have Hosni Bronx, who is not only from Jamaica, but he also lives in the Bronx of New York, with Dance as a Lion. And then King Cinnamon again with fantastic. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this musical break.
We swap on the
Can you get a chineke makwana limo bundenje mono? Can you get on your why makwana limo bundenje mono? Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Alimo State, Alime Kerelo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Alimo State, Alime Kerelo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Democracy Kerelo, Ndime Merielo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Alimo State, Alime Kerelo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Democracy Merielo, Ndime Merielo, Elegamo, making head ya, Ebere Marama, Opa Marama, Yes Lady Marama, Her Excellency, Emeka your hammer, Emeka hit your hammer, Omenga Unanya need your hammer, Omenga Unanya one, Emeka, make him body mouth, Emeka, Modi Mao, Emeka put on no boy. Oh yeah. Wa wuleno. Emeka put on no boy. Walk on Madima. We me wan potso. Emeka, make him Modi Mao. Emeka, make him Modi Mao. Ndem jejemba. Mwan jejemba. Ndem jemano. Deputy Governor Imo State Chilike. Jeradi Ronna Karaka, Wokoma Dima, Porabo, Deputy Governor, Deregima, Alukuta Deregima, Alimo State Deregima, Ala Nigeria Maragima, Onya Jemonu, Standing Wamuche Karaka, Stanley, Onya Babamba, President Good Life Foundation, Shirike, President General, Senate Group of Companies, President General. Financial matter Karaka, Alo were Deregima, Alambise Deregima, Alimo State Deregima, Ala Nigeria Maragima, Onya Jemano, Franklin Shiriko, Mebe Arabido Hotels, ABC Transport Karaka, Alo were Deregima, Alambise Deregima, Alimo State Deregima, Ala Nigeria Maragima, Uchonya go chande, Honorable Wokoma Dima, Onye Horo Nyageleni Yao, Mawugi, Ginando to Gio, Mawunule, Njigari Chinala, Imo State, yo, Mawugi, Ginando to Gio, Mawunule. Zonala, Imo State, Alo were Deregima, Alo were Deregima, Alimo State Deregima, Ala Nigeria Maragima, the German, Orange Drugs Limited, Jisa Anthony Ifani Chukun to business and Ishirike, Ikenga di Chele, pride of his people, most outstanding one, Okoma Marama, Iborabo. Alo were Deregima, Alija Deregima, Alimo State Deregima, Ala Nigeria Maragima, Honorable Jowagu Shirike, Honorable Bina Shirike, General Bossa Shirike, Tochuko Kereke Shirike, Okahube Shirike, Injina Benina Shirike, Onyamana Construction, Wokoma Dima Ikaraka, Onya Shiwore Heborani. Jemu Imarama, Wokoma Jemba, Wokoma Dema Ikaraka, Wiz Popule, Ibo Felamo, Onyomana Pito, Akana Kompa, Ikaraka, Eziwa Mama, Mr. Ludiriwa, Wokome Jemba, CEO Lisa Beventure, Ikaraka, Democracy Merielo, Ndime Merielo. Democracy Merielo, Ndime Merielo, Alimo, Alime from Imo State. Emeka has come to rejuvenate. Imo State, make you jubilate, make you celebrate. Emeka shipment be say, this one no be say them say. Emeka has come to rejuvenate. Imo State, celebrate, make you jubilate. Ala mekele His Excellency Achikudenwa. Mekele kwa His Excellency Dr. Kedo Hakim. Kemaka Right Honorable BDK. Mekele kwa Right Honorable Jones Oyereri. Ala mekele Senator Onyebuchi Mr. Empowerment. Mekele kwa Right Honorable Emeka Chinedu. Umo mimo lowali bia meziana alimo. Alima de lama.
Cliffito.
music come from Jah.
We swap on the beat.
She like my water bam bam. King Cinnamon. Oh shit, baddest. Take your bam bam anywhere you day. Blow your bam bam, it is a Friday. Come on, let's go, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Take your bam bam anywhere you day. Blow your bam bam, it is a Friday. Come on, let's go, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic. Gucci brother, baby, gather something. Come on closer, baby, gather 19. I know you better, but I am the king. Your backside bigger than Bombay. Baby girl, brokotom. I like the way you want your brokotom. Baby girl, brokotom. I like the way you want your brokotom. Jamaica, Ghana, shout out to the ladies in Asia, Nigeria, South Africa. Say me love you. Please me, baby. Yeah. Turn up from you. Take your bam bam anywhere you day. Play your bam bam if it's a Friday. Come on, let's go, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Take your bam bam anywhere you day. Play your bam bam if it's a Friday. Come on, let's go, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic. Give me love. Me want you, me love you. Give me love. Oh, give me love. Hey, please me, baby. Yeah, turn up from you. Yeah, take your bam bam anywhere you day. Play your bam bam, it is a Friday. Come on, let's go, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Shake your bam bam anywhere you day. Play your bam bam, it is a Friday. Come on, let's go, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic.
Welcome back, and thanks so much for joining us tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Tonight we have Mr. Rick Kirkby from the UK. We have Mia Savage from Durango, Colorado. SleepyDave Davenport from Scottsdale, Arizona. And Robert White from Queensland, Australia. You guys, welcome back, and thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight.
No worries.
Thank you. It was silent there for a minute. I like it.
I know. Are you guys still here? But we were talking. We were talking on break about debit boxes, and Robert was looking different things up, so on and so forth, and then we got on the topic of buying certain things as far as like antiques or different items that have something connected to it. And Mia was sharing with us some of her examples, and I hate to make anyone repeat themselves, but Mia, could you tell our listeners what you were saying about different things that you had bought? Or you were talking also about haunted dolls. This girl had haunted dolls that she's collecting. I don't know about that.
Sure. I see a girl on TikTok, and she is definitely someone in the paranormal community. I wouldn't necessarily say she's in the metaphysical community. There's kind of like two different communities. You know, you have the spiritual light worker community, then you have the paranormal community, then you have people who are part of both. She's more of the paranormal category. But she has a few supposedly very haunted dolls that she does these, you know, kind of like the Zach Baggins type thing, you know, buying haunted objects and using the ghost box and you know, to communicate with them and stuff like that. And I was just saying, from my perspective, you know, with my intuition, I can see a very negative energy in her space. She's constantly doing all of these sessions with these haunted dolls, and bringing those into your house, you know, intentionally. And then, you know, it's like she's almost doesn't see the energy, the layer of negative energy that's on her because of these objects, because she lives with them. You know, it's one thing going to a site and doing investigations, or even doing investigations surrounding, you know, haunted objects, but to intentionally seek haunted items and bring them into your home is a whole nother story. Same with the divot box. I don't, you know, your story and that story, which I've heard before, you know, he bought it at an estate sale. He didn't know it was haunted. That's one thing, but to go seeking haunted objects and bringing them in your home with intention is not the best idea, because you may not die, you know, you may not have anything crazy, really crazy happen, but it's still going to bring negativity into your energy field. And when it's in your energy field for so long, you can't see it anymore. It just kind of becomes a part of you. And whether it's haunted or not, or if it just has, you know, negative energy, because we as humans that are alive, we leave energy imprints on the things that we have, you know, we wherever we go, whatever we do, especially if it's something we use all the time, you know, like my dog always wants to lay on my blanket. You know, and it's a specific one. I give her the exact same blanket. She doesn't want it. It could be because of my scent, but I think a lot of it is just, you know, my energy. Like, that's the one I use. She wants it. I don't know. But, you know, so if it's not haunted, it can still have, you know, like an energy imprint of the previous owners of whatever it is that you're buying from, like an antique store or, you know, thrift store or anything like that. So do a cleansing. If you buy something used, you know, use some Palo Santo or whatever it is that you do, and cleanse it, especially if it's something really old.
Anybody else want to speak on the topic before we move on? Hello? Is there anybody out there? Well, I just know...
No. What is what?
Well, sometimes you're drawn to certain items. Like, generally you wouldn't, but you're drawn to this certain item. And a lot of times there is something attached to it. As far as antiques, so on and so forth. It's pretty interesting. Have you ever had anything like that,
It can
Sleepy?
go both ways, though. Like, it can be also that you're attracted to it because it has positive energy. That's happened to me before in an antique store. I think that's also, it goes both ways as well. It doesn't necessarily mean it's haunted, but there could be, like, you know, it's an object that maybe the person passed away, but it's like I don't know, something that they cared for in their existence, and it has like almost a warm energy to it. Like family heirloom type energy, where you have something that belongs to someone who's passed, and it just makes you feel good knowing that it meant something to them or what have you.
All I'd say about the Dybbuk boxes, like we were saying when was off air there, is that the Dybbuk is the Yiddish word for malicious spirit. And I would say 99.9% of the things being sold on eBay and the internet is probably just somebody's made it up to make a load of money, and or to get likes and views on YouTube. But even if it is something made up and someone's just sealed a box up, I do think what energy we give to that thing. If we say, oh, it's an evil spirit, it's a demonic spirit, it's this, it's that, and the other, we feed the energy into it. We feed that into our own psychological makeup, and I think we could end up frightening ourselves. I mean, if you keep saying to someone, it's this, it's this, it's this, it's bad, then, you know, we put that connotation on that item. And if certain people are within the paranormal field or whatnot, or even allowing themselves to open up to certain things, but they're giving a negative spin to something, who knows, you may allow something to come in. And it's got nothing to do with the box you've got, but it just sees it as a little gateway into having a bit of mischief. So I would very much not waste any money on any sort of box, whether it be supposedly real or not, and mess about with anything. So there you go.
Well, yeah, and like you said, there are real ones out there, and there are people that are like, Dybbuk box, let's just make one. I saw on the EWU show, which is Explore With Us, they got a Dybbuk box, they took it out into the middle of nowhere and decided to open it up, and there was nothing in there. It was basically just a box that was sealed closed with candle wax. But yeah, it's just intriguing, the different things that are going on and different ways people are approaching them and doing different things. It's insane. Could be real, could be not. Is it worth messing with? I do think so.
So,
I mean,
Rick,
it's
you're saying that you could make a tulpa out of it if you think too much about it. A tulpa.
Yeah,
A tulpa.
you probably could make
manifest out of your mind. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You could make an antenna for things, couldn't you? I mean, if you said to someone, this silver spoon is haunted, it's got bad connotations, it's this, that, and the other, then gave it to that person could totally start getting 100% belief in that, and something might just draw itself in, just to think, you know, why not? They're going to believe it anyway. Or something might not at all, but any bad luck or anything that they have happened to them will attribute to this particular spoon, and they'll want to sell it as quickly as possible or something like that. But yeah, I do believe that we can imprint our beliefs on things, and if spirit, as there is in this side of life, there's good and bad, and people who like to play tricks and be a bit mischievous, I mean, why not? They might think, oh, this person, they really believe this, and this is giving me an opening to get in here, so why not? It could work as an antenna to draw something in that you don't want. Or it could just be a bit of a mischievous spirit having a bit of a laugh. Yeah, I wouldn't go messing about with anything. I mean, who in the right mind would pay sometimes hundreds of dollars or more for something that supposedly got a mischievous spirit or a demonic spirit trapped inside it, just to buy it, to open it and see what happens? Yeah, and 9 times out of 10, probably nothing at all. Or you might instill so much energy into it, you get something that's, try to mess about with you, or it could just be your own psyche, just your own thoughts running wild with you, and then anything happens. You go outside, you trip over, you crash your car the next day, which could have happened anyway, and you'll attribute it to buying that silly box off eBay. Why the hell did I do that? You know, it's just, we can instill so much power in things. And like I say, if the spirit world's out there seeing what we're doing, because sometimes people watch paranormal shows and they pull Ouija boards out and they do various things, and at any other time they probably could have pulled a Ouija board out and nothing happens. But because they've been watching these shows or they've been reading books and things, and spirit world becomes like interested. Oh, right, yeah, I see what they're doing there, and they're opening themselves up a little bit. They get a Ouija board out, or they do seances, or they do certain things at the house, and then things start coming in, and just there's no point dicing with things, giving energy to things that might just be an empty cigar box sealed with wax. So it's just
community announcement. Yep, don't buy a box. Go out and buy a girlfriend.
It'd probably be more
So
expensive.
don't buy a box.
Yeah. No, you get to buy a pretty expensive
Don't buy
box
boxes.
at the end of your life.
There's less drama with just the box. But earlier Mia was talking about burning things. What are you guys' thoughts? Like, a lot of people take Ouija boards out and try to burn them. And I've heard stories about Ouija boards kind of jumping out of the fire and screaming. There's different variations, people throwing them out, them coming back, so on and so forth. Do you guys think burning items is a good idea, or do you think it's not such a good idea?
I think whatever intention you put in it, if you believe that cleansing it in fire will work, if you believe that cleansing it in holy water will work, if you believe chucking it into a fast-flowing stream will work, or burying it 3 foot down with a crucifix and saying a prayer will work, then that'll most likely work. But as for Ouija boards and things like that, jumping out of fires and screaming, then I've never heard such a thing. And I'm sure if it happened, we'd have plenty of videos on the internet showing such things. But I think it's very much our own intentions. Like some people will not do certain things before they've done the Lord's Prayer or whatever prayer they need to do. So very, very much think it's our own intentions. So if you believe that you've used the Ouija board, it's caused a problem, and if you do this, that, or the other, cleanse it by fire, holy water, chucking it into a fast-flowing stream and saying the Lord's Prayer 3 times, or whatever the case may be, and you truly believe that, then probably everything's going to be just fine. I think it's very much intention with things like that.
Robert?
I agree.
Oh, Mia, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to add on to that I agree 100%. And something that I used to do for like stress management, you give a worry to like a rock and you throw it in the river, or you write something on a piece of paper that you're worried about, that you don't want to have to think about. And that, I don't believe that's any type of a witchcraft ceremony or anything like that. It's just
like an affirmation or whatnot. Like, write it down.
It's like helping your subconscious. If you want to shoot bottles, and each one you shoot is like, something that stresses you out. Just don't pretend it's people, because that's not nice.
Right.
But things like that. Subconscious.
Yeah, well, with the stone bit, I can agree with that. You can put intent into a stone, and it'll stay there, and whatever you do with the stone after that, that's up to you. But with the stones that I use, I put good intention into them, and I usually, with lapidary, I found that it's got all of the elements to it. Like, you use fire to melt wax onto it to keep from cutting your fingers on the grinding wheels. So that's fire. There's water going over the wheel so you don't breathe in the dust. That's the second element. Air to dry it. And
earth.
What is it? Yeah,
earth.
Well, the rock comes from the earth. Yeah. So all the elements.
That's awesome.
I was just thinking, Rob, if you got an Australian Ouija board and it was slightly curved and you threw that might come back. Like a boomerang one.
Well, I don't know. Right.
Would it say?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, would it say A on it?
A,
mate.
Good day.
Good day. Don't they say A? Am I wrong? A, mate. Or is it I or A?
Good day, mate.
Yeah. I like Sleepy's picture. Warning: this product, something, nicotine is an addictive substance. But it's like the label right in front of his video. Don't smoke, kids. It's really bad for you. I'm still trying to quit. I got some lozenges. I'm afraid that it's going to upset my stomach. I'm going to try this week again. It's just I'm not a quitter, so whatever. But Sleepy, what are your thoughts on burning things? Have you heard stories of Ouija boards jumping out? Or, like, personally, my brother tried to burn this satanic Bible and it wouldn't burn. Have you heard anything about burning? Is it a good thing, bad thing, so on and so forth?
Oh, I heard a story when I was in elementary school. A classmate of mine had an older brother who was 6 years older than him, so that, he's my brother's age. He had a story about his friend. And they tried to burn it, supposedly, in a metal trash can, and it started screaming. I don't know. I wasn't there. Interestingly enough, about 3 years after that incident, him and his mom, I believe, got killed in a car wreck in '88. Yeah. So there's nefarious things. I mean, my buddy's dad mysteriously died at the age of 41 in '88, just like of a heart attack. It's like, he was a pharmacist. And then he himself dies in a car wreck in '94. Well, they pulled the plug on him. He was brain dead. They donated his organs. Just, I talked about it before, just like this all-American family going about their life. This utmost tragedy bestowed upon them. It's crazy. So you have to wonder why certain random horrible events happen to seemingly otherwise normal people. Is it really spirits lingering around and I don't know. I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but when I went to visit my buddy in '94, ironically, like the day I went to visit him is the day that he left and got in his car accident. And that's the spooky part. I had just missed him because his mother still thought he was home. His car was in the driveway. And what I later found out is he left his car there and he left with his friends. That's why she thought he was still home. And they went for a drive up north, and they were speeding and lost control, hit a tree. I think that's how it went. And he was in a coma for about a week before they started to pull the plug on him. When he was 19 years old. And I remember going to his basement. He had all sorts of quirky stuff written on the walls. I mean, like, what would be, excuse me, considered, I don't know, not witch. I would say dark witchcraft type of stuff, in my opinion, knowing the guy since I was, 5 years old, So I don't know if that, you don't know what you're bringing in, through music, through posters, through, totems people give. Mina's right. You have to be careful when you accept gifts from people. You don't know what they do to things. So that's my story. Quirky, but yeah. And the list goes on even through the '90s. But I won't get into it. But yeah, it's crazy. Witchcraft. I've had, my ex tried to play with one of those, and things didn't go so well in the home. I mean, my old house was haunted. It was horrible. There was probably multiple entities in there. Sleep paralysis entity, he was there. He visited me about 4 nights a week. Suffered through that for...
Was that the Hat Man?
This one I didn't see. This one was more of a black mass holding me down than an entity. Like a figured entity. It was it would hold my head down. It would force it down to the pillow, and it would cause me to have really eerie nightmares. Lucid ones where I couldn't tell if I was awake. Like in one of them, I was 3 dreams deep. You talk about Inception. You wake up, you think you're up. No, you're still sleeping. You wake up again. No, you're still sleeping. You wake up again. No. I mean, it was scary.
It's like Freddy Kruegerville.
Oh, it was, and Melody was probably about less than a month old when all this went down. She was a newborn. Because I remember in this loop dream I was caught in, I kept getting up and walking down the hall and checking on her in her crib. And then everything was normal till I walked back into my room, and that's when everything went wonky and demonic. I was like, oh my God. So, I think you're attacked like that. Certainly. Just whatever causes it, who knows? A lot of negative things happened in that home, before Melody was born. So.
Did you feel like after she was born there were more protective, like, entities or measures or whatnot going on?
No, it increased.
Damn.
Ooh. It increased in. How can I say? Yeah, I don't know. Like, okay, well, the cat died in her playroom. That wasn't, just died one day. Come home from work. Her mother's like, the cat died in Melody's playroom. I'm like, what? You didn't move it? No, it's still waited for you to get home to move it.
Jeez. That's your deal.
Yeah. It was, nothing per se happened. Well, she had this potty, when you teach kids to go potty, they have the potty training potties. She had one that every time she would go, that would make it would sing a song, and it would cheer. Well, when she was old enough, she was potty trained at about not even 2.5. By June of 2014, when Melody had just turned 2, just a few months, she was already potty trained, which is pretty early for a child. So we had put it up in the foyer-way, cleaned it all up, and it would make this random noise it would make as if the child would go to the potty. Hold on. And it would cheer. So Jamie's like, I thought we took the battery out. I said, no, let's take the battery out and test it. And wouldn't you know it, even with the batteries out, sometimes that thing would cheer. we couldn't stop it.
It's like, yay!
Yeah, it would cheer randomly. Yeah. Well, the possessed child potty trainer thing. Melody, you're too young to say that. Oh my God. She's like, possessed piss. From the mouths of babes, Lord help me.
You can't make this.
But yeah, that's. But the hauntings, it attacked Jamie. How's that? That's what I think. Hold on, no. That's what I think happened. I think a lot of that negative energy honed in on her, because the activity was. Before that was just like stuff would move, things would get lost, remote controls would go missing for weeks on end. We'd have like 6 of them out, 4 of them would go missing with it. Only 2 of us lived there, so shit like that. So.
Anyone else? I don't want to hog the interwaves, so willing to share. Yeah, it's pretty intriguing. And like I was saying, my brother, his stepson was delving into, the mystic side or whatnot and getting into witchcraft. Not only that, they found a satanic Bible. All kinds of crazy shit started to happen. They took it out, dug a hole, tried to burn it, but they said it would not burn. And these are pages just like the Bible. And they're very flammable, really. They will burn, but they said no matter how hard they tried, they could not burn it. So they just ended up burying it. But that's just interesting to me. Does it have some sort of anti-flame agent on it, just in case somebody tries to do this, to make them have a stronger belief that this is real? Or is this something else?
No, was that what was he trying to burn? Because Melody was talking to me, and I wanted to mention something about it.
It was a satanic Bible.
Yeah, I'll tell you a story about this. I had a naive friend of mine, was a freshman in high school, and he was doing a speech on the satanic Bible in 6-hour class. Oh, thank you, Melody. And he brought in the satanic Bible. And I warned him. I said, because he wanted to pass it around to the students. I said, you're dumb. I said, what? I just flat out said it right.
Yeah, look, don't touch, just look.
And I said to him, I said, if it gets to my desk, I'm going to take out my lighter and I'm going to start burning the mofo. And yes, it does. Anyway, it gets to my desk and I start to try to light the bottom corner pages on fire. And they would burn and they would go out. They'd burn and they go out. I'm like, son of a... I couldn't get the fucker lit. Excuse my language. And he's like, don't burn my Bible. That's my Bible. I'm like, he's like, I don't burn your holy Bible. I'm like, well, this is demonic. You know, I'm like, I said, listen to this crap. So
and you told him what you were going to do if it came to your desk. So why is he surprised?
Yeah. So I started reading the Satanic 10 Commandments out loud in front of the class. I said, look, do what thou wilt, number one. What's today's mantra in society? Do what thou wilt. I mean,
it is what it is.
So, well, either way, that's the only time I've seen anything like that not burn. You know, you'd think it would. But
well, yeah, back in the day when we were teenagers and like we're working in a hotel and we don't have wrapping papers as far as, you know, rolling a joint. So we'll take the starting covers or the end covers from the Bible. We never take anything with text on it, just the empty ones. And we still felt bad about that, really. But being honest, that's what we would do, and it would burn. But it seems like there's some sort of anti-burn agent, or is this really the power of Satan or whatnot? Like, this will not burn. You'd think it'd burn like no other, but it won't. It's really odd. They must treat the paper or something. I don't know.
I thought we were talking about the Satanic Bible, so I was going to say that it's a hell of a book, but...
Yeah, we were. I was just comparing it to a regular Bible as far as the papers are. Same paper as far as substance and such, but these won't burn, but these will. Like, what the hell? Doesn't make sense.
Oh, okay, so I have a fun fact. So the what is his name? The Satanic Church of Satan leader. What's his name? Anton LaVey. Anton LaVey. Yes. So he was the leader of the Church of Satan, and his daughter, who is a doppelganger for doppelganger for Taylor Swift. Actually, there's like all these conspiracy theories surrounding that. Anyway, so she took over this Church of Satan for a while. I just found this out. And in her adulthood, she eventually denounced her position and denounced the Church of Satan and moved somewhere weird and became a Buddhist.
Nice.
The leader of the Church of Satan decided she didn't want to do it anymore and became a Buddhist. And I thought that was very fascinating. She saw the light.
That's cute. That's intriguing, though, because the last, I ever heard of the Satanic Church, so on and so forth, like you said, was her father, the guy with a mustache and looking all devilish and such, but I never saw anything as far as concerning her and running things, and maybe they kept it quiet because it was a female running things, and that's another form of racism or whatnot, like having a female in power, they don't want that to be known, so it's under the rug. But is that true, for you too? The last I ever saw or heard of it was her father doing these different rituals.
Sexism, yeah. He died.
Sexism.
He died, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, he died. Her father died, someone had to take over. I think with the occult people, they knew who was running things. I don't think they really was bothered that it was a woman. They're just getting the dogma out there, and they still sell the books on Amazon. You can go on and get the Satanic Bible. And I guess all profits, well, unless it's a private seller, I suppose profits go somewhere to some sort of people peddling that dogma. But I don't know. People do things they like to make money, don't they? He looked like he wasn't short of a penny or two when he was alive.
Right?
Exactly.
He has some crazy-ass parties.
And the Satanic Bible, they're not everything in there. It's understandable, some of the things that are in there. Do unto others as has been done to you, which is basically like karma, this and this and that. So I understand why he had followers, in a sense, and they don't actually worship a deity. They don't worship the actual devil. It's
No,
more
don't they
Did he
think of
like?
themselves as gods? Like, even in the Mormon church, it's
Exactly.
like, when we
Ego.
die, we will all become gods if we live the true and in whatever form of life. You'll become a god too, and you can build your own, universe, so on and so forth. That's why there's so many.
Did
Yes.
he
It's all
run with a
about
lot of
ego.
Alistair Crowley's teachings back in the day?
Exactly. I think that it was based a lot on him. He was a kook.
Well, that's
He
what
was
gets
a
me,
total
because
kook.
we have Aleister Crowley and we have all these other people that are really big for a spurt of time, and then all of a sudden they start to diminish and dwindle and like horrible endings. So did these people sell their souls to the devil? Did they go to the crossroads? What sort of thing did they do to get into the limelight for their 15 minutes or 15 years or whatever of fame, and then go to the other side? Like, it seemed really bad for all these people. Really. Like, is it worth it? I don't know.
He got included on the Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band
Noise.
sleeve, Alistair Crowley. But I don't know. People write some weird and wacky stuff, don't they? And some people like it, and some people don't. So yeah, but I think he died. He died pretty much penniless after getting lots of money. I think he blew it. Probably too many women and God knows what. Drugs
Yeah,
and
they
things
just
that
like kind of
got into
suck
you.
up and suck down into the little whirlpool. To hell. Goodbye, my friend. Goodbye. It's demented, but that seems like how it is. I don't know. It's weird. So many people that have been record breakers or paving the way for others. Even Tesla, like, he was so big at one point, and then, the government or whoever else came in and took over with the guy that was competing against him, because they're looking at the monetary value. Tesla's not, so they're going this way, and you can be sucked down that way as well. Like, you're getting really big, you're doing really good, and then you die alone in a hotel as a little hermit. It's kind of sad. Money is the root of all evil. So anywho's, I've mentioned before, as far as COVID goes and the coronavirus, that things have been on the rise, and holy shnikes, I just found this report that says reports of paranormal activity on the rise during coronavirus stay-at-home orders, and this was back in May, and we've been talking about this for a while, but there's so many people reporting paranormal activity. Is it because we've been forced to stay at home and so we notice more things that we generally wouldn't because we're gone? Or is there an increase for a certain other reason? Are we getting close to World War III and the end of the world and heaven versus hell? What are your guys' thoughts? We'll start backwards. We'll go with Mia first. Mia?
I have heard multiple things. I think it could be a little bit of both, like on a scientific level, where we're we have less distractions. We're not, a lot of people are not working. So people who have neglected like their hobbies and their abilities and everything. Hold on just a moment. Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
People are probably tuning into their abilities a little bit more. But in addition to that, some people say we're going into the age of Aquarius and we're moving into the 5D. And then we have the whole, potential for, war and, all of this stuff. But I think a lot of it is people are waking up kind of to, I like to believe that we're moving into kind of a higher state of consciousness, of being, and people are opening up a little bit.
And a lot of people are shutting down too, but yeah. There seems to be an upward upheaval of people that are gifted, and like Jason Hollywood Fife was saying, everybody this Halloween is coming out as a witch, and it's funny because a lot of people were a whole bunch of witches all over the place. You'd never see that in history because those people would be tortured and tormented and then burned at the stake. But now people are coming out with their different things going on, and could be real, could be not, but even my kids are gifted. Like, there's so many gifted people that are here now when before there may not have been, or perhaps people just weren't talking about it. Not sure, but it seems like there is an upheaval.
Yes, I agree. It's also making people cranky. I feel like they're going two ways. We have the people that are opening up, that are unifying. You know, we have a whole collective people that are unifying. I see, you know, just people all the time that are starting to notice these things and open up and, you know, kind of understand. You know, I had a conversation with somebody about twin flames, how that is kind of a joke in a way, because the person who, I mean, I believe in them, yes, but I don't believe that our souls are split in two. I mean, that's ridiculous. We're not, nobody's walking around with half a soul. You either have a soul or you don't, but you're not walking around and somebody has the other half of your soul and you have to put it together. I mean, that's very romantic, but I don't think so. But the person who started that was actually a cult leader, I found out, and I had a conversation with a girl about it. And I think you can have soul contracts with people before you are, you know, born in this lifetime, but I don't, and I think that you have people that you mirror each other, and, you know, people who, you know, were made of stardust, maybe we're from the same star, maybe, but I don't believe that twin flames are, you have one half of a soul and there's somebody else in the world that has your other half of the soul. I don't believe that at all. And I found out that the person that created that was a cult leader, and I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Have another cup of
it's got
this
a lot
Kool-Aid.
of people confused. Exactly. It's got a lot of spiritual people confused, and it makes people sad to think about too. There's a lot of young people that are just kind of opening up their spirituality, and they read all this stuff about twin flames, and they're, you know, I don't think it works like that. I think that's spiritual propaganda.
Well, yeah, and people believe different things. BTO, he was a friend of ours, same age as me. He would have been 42 this year, but he passed away a little bit ago. And he talked about when you're born, your soul is fractured and there's shards going in different directions. And through your learning process, you gain back these certain shards, and how going to the light is a trap. You know, don't go into the light, then you'll be recycled, and you know, do something else. But there's different beliefs, and it makes you think, and I like to hear different perspectives because I like to think about things, because, you know, a lot of times things aren't set in stone, or it's not all black and white. There are other realities out there. There's so many different ones, and we may never know the truth. But yeah, the whole twin flame thing, I do believe that I know so many people in my life now that I know I knew before. You just have that knowing, you know what I mean? Like when you and I met, it was like, I knew you before. I don't know where, but I know I knew you.
I know it was abnormally comfortable, you know. It was, you get that abnormally like I understand you. You don't have to talk. I already know. Whatever.
Shh.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty intriguing how things happen, and just the precipice that we're coming up upon. Like, I don't know. I kind of don't want to know. I'm just being comfortable in the state of things of how they are now. When it happens, it'll happen, and then I'll worry about it. But until then, I don't want to stress on it. But yeah, it's been insane.
Exactly. I just be spiritual, focus on, you know, and especially with all of these, like you just said, that what that guy said about, you know, the little shards of whatever, what is it?
Your soul.
Your soul. Okay. I understand what he means by that, right? I disagree with the whole don't go to the light and all the other stuff, but you pick and choose the things that make sense, because that to me makes sense. I could look at it that way. I do feel like you can have your gifts as a spiritual person or as a psychic or whatever. You can have those given and taken away in a way sometimes.
you know.
I think it depends on how
and-
you use it. If you use it for good, it can grow stronger. If you use it for your own good, as far as monetary and such, like so many people have gone to, it can be bad. You'll lose it.
Well, and you get certain things like you know, I'll get clairaudience every once in a while, right? And I have to wonder why. And it's always because I'm on a path that I need that for that moment, right? Because I don't, you know, it would be terrible being clairaudient, because like as a musician, to me, like that would be terrible for me to hear stuff and not be able to hear stuff, you know, like I'm like, you know,
Like, shut up! I'm trying to hear
ready
this.
to play. Yeah, like also, you know, but so I'll get that sometimes when I'm very open, almost as like a reassurance, or it's something trying to get my attention or something like that, if that makes sense. So I do feel like the shards of your soul, I mean, you can look at it in that way, where you're like, you pick up your gifts throughout your lifetime. I've also heard, like with the Akashic records and all that stuff, you're here incarnated to remember, you know, who you are from your previous
Some
existence.
people do, and some people don't. Like, I've had recurring dreams that could be a past life experience where I fell to my death, like many, many stories down, because I was working on a skyscraper. But my daughter Lily, she's the only one of my kids that told me she got shot in the leg. She had to tie it off so she wouldn't bleed out, but she ended up dying anyways. And she was actually a field medic. Tall, statured, blonde-haired guy with glasses. So many details. Today, she's like, I don't even remember saying that, but it was just intriguing to me that she did at the year of 1.5 years old, telling me about your past life. I'm like, holy shnikes. That's insane. But that's cool, like, because I don't remember.
Yeah, I've done the past life regressions, and I've only seen, I wasn't allowed to see, like, the only 2 lives that I really saw, if they were even lives, I don't even know if they were lives. I could have been a dust particle in one of them, who knows, but they were so long ago. I'm like, that was, I don't know, 1,000 years ago or something, or maybe less than that. But I'm like, well, I mean, that was so long ago. Why am I not allowed to see anything recent if I was incarnated here? And I don't know if I was or if I wasn't. I don't know. I don't even know if those were past lives or if they were just visions. Who knows? You know, it's really hard, but you know, that doesn't stop me from at night being like, okay, I want to see more, and asking my guides to show me more stuff.
Yeah. Instead of having the
Every
reoccurring,
night.
Can we go further? I wouldn't have wanted to on mine, because, like, right before I hit the crack of the sidewalk, I woke up. So I don't want to go further. But for you, you could.
No, it doesn't. Like, I, for some reason, I'm not allowed to see at this point in time. You know, if that's even, you know, I don't even know how much I believe in reincarnation. I do believe, I 100%, I know I've known people before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe in reincarnation just because it makes sense to me, and because there are people in my life that I met that I mean, not even know them. Like, I'm like I can, you know, it's like I'm bonded to them almost in a way. You know, if one of them is going through something hard, I can feel it every time. But as far as like past lives go, then you hear like your daughter, like I've heard a lot of stories, you know, of there people having birthmarks where they were killed, or, you know, but I'm not allowed to, for some reason, to see. I'm like, why? Like, I'm not evolved enough to handle it, or what? I don't know.
Because like my kids all had a birthmark on their forehead. Kinsey had it, and they call them stork bites, but on her eyelids and right in between her eyes. And then Nova had it, and it was in the shape of a rooster. And when she'd get pissed off, you'd see this rooster on her forehead. Floyd's was in the shape of the dragon, and then Lily's was like a little check mark, like, check, we're done. The funny thing is, though, it not only is here on the forehead, but here at the base of the neck. So is that a shot going from the base of the neck through the forehead or from the forehead to the base of the neck? It's kind of fucked up to think about, but a lot of people talk about birthmarks and how those are a sign of the damage from your past life where you were killed, whether you were stabbed or gorged or shot or whatnot. That is the intention of what happened to you. So it's intriguing that we all have that on our foreheads and on the base of our necks, like we're kind of like a tribe. I don't know. It's intriguing. On that note, guys, we do have to go to our first musical break. We have Hosni Bronx from Jamaica and the Bronx of New York with Free Child, King Cinnamon from Biafra, Nigeria with Rosie, and Hosni Bronx again with Strong Life. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this musical break.
Funky on the beat.
Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you talk me, you got me confused. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you talk me, you got me confused. Cinnamon, cinnamon, do it softly. I said you wine your body, eat the sweetie, sweetie. Make it rock my body, I am feeling horny. Make it touch my body, I am feeling sweetie. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you talk me, you got me confused. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you talk me, you got me confused. All my men, they wear out. All my guys, they wear out. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. All my men, they wear out. All my guys, they wear out. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. Muko mukeji, go bere muketa. Oya muko mukeji, oya bere muketa. Daddy mu ekon, omo ni pe mukeji. Daddy bere muketa, omo ni fún mi lẹ́yìn. Daddy fisi fisi, omo ni ẹjọ́. Daddy saucy saucy, omo ni ẹjọ́. Daddy kosi kosi, omo ni ẹjọ́. Daddy turn him pussy, omo ni ẹjọ́. Daddy and his baby, them dey for corner. Daddy begin the touch and the girl dey holla. Now daddy begin the open the shirt collar. Now something come out, daddy begin the suck am. Daddy mu ekon, omo ni pe mukeji. Daddy bere muketa, omo ni fún mi lẹ́yìn. Daddy fisi fisi, omo ni ẹjọ́. Daddy saucy saucy, omo ni ẹjọ́ ẹjọ́. All my men they gbero, all my guys they gbero. Imarama, Imarama Rosie, Imarama, Imarama Rosie. All my men they gbero, all my guys they gbero. Imarama, Imarama Rosie, Imarama, Imarama Rosie. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you touch me, you got me confused. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you talk me, you got me confused. Cinnamon, cinnamon, do it softly. I see the wine, your body, eat the sweetie, sweetie. Shake it, rock my body, I am feeling horny. Shake it, touch my body, I am feeling sweetie. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you talk me, you got me confused. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you talk me, you got me confused. Kissy, kissy, amani, ejo. Daddy saucy, saucy, amani, ejo. Daddy kosi, kosi, amani, ejo. Daddy kahe kosi, amani, ejo. Daddy contact, amani, ejo. Daddy comfort, daddy consist, amani, ejo. Daddy can eat, daddy 120, amani, ejo. Daddy 18, daddy 240, amani, ejo. Daddy 360, daddy and the baby, them there for corner. Daddy begin the touch and the girl the holla. Daddy begin the open the shirt collar. I come to come, daddy begin the sucker. Daddy move, echo, amani pe mukeji. Daddy bere muketa, amani fún mi lẹ́yìn. Daddy fisi fisi, amani ẹjọ́. Daddy saucy saucy, amani ẹjọ́ ẹjọ́. All my men they gbero, all my guys they gbero. Imarama, 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 Imarama.
Oh yeah, it's funky on the beat.
Babylon to make you suffer. Babylon to make you suffer. Babylon Babylon make you suffer. What you desire, young life. We are ready to fight. Hard life for my people. I don't know why my people live this life. I don't know why my people live this life. I don't know how to fight. 'Cause my people suffer. What do you want, Babylon? I don't understand why this world is so strange, strange with my people. I don't know how to fight, but if we are together, it will work. It will work. Babylon no have no heart. 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 My people, you have to survive. Yeah, you must rebuild you and make your own way. You must not give up. The beginning of the revolt will start. We need to follow our true destiny. Yeah, 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 yeah. I don't know why my people live this life. I don't know why my people live this life. The obstacle we face, yeah, is Babylon. The world is a good place, yeah, for our freedom. You take everything, you don't bring anything, yeah, yeah. Young life, all anti-dread. We must believe in a magical, powerful force that unite us, and not just these people stay speechless again. We don't want to talk, no, it's time to fight, yeah. We start talking. Babylon make you suffer. 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 What you desire, young life. We are ready to fight.
Welcome back, and thanks so much for joining us tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Tonight we're joined by SleepyDave Davenport. We're joined by Mia Savage of Durango, Colorado, Robert White of Queensland, Australia, and then Rick Kirkby of Northeast UK. Is that what you said? I don't remember.
Lincolnshire, northeast.
Northeast.
North. England.
I remembered
Good
it. Well, welcome you guys, and thanks so much for hanging out. We've been discussing so many things, even on break. We got so much going on. Where do you guys want to go from here? We have T-minus 45 minutes and counting. Anything we haven't hit on?
You were talking about the influx of paranormal things because of COVID and that. I was talking about that before I went off.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, I think we've spoken about it previous months. But I suppose if you've got an annual amount of people that die all over the world, and obviously this has increased, if we think probably spiritual energy could have like a capacitor, and you put more energy into it through more people dying, so more souls, spirits moving over, I suppose that could contribute to more spiritual things happening around the world and people seeing things and having things happen. And also because we've got more times on our hands, I think that more people are looking to the skies, and I believe UFO sightings and things have gone up because people, I guess, are not really going to work, or not as much as they used to be due to various regional lockdowns and various things like that all over the world, different countries. So I think things are happening like that. And also some people, although we've had the great news that there's 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or God knows how many vaccines that are supposed to be working quite well, and hopefully will come out and will be a lot better this time, or hopefully before this time next year. But before all that, it's quite negative, doom and gloom. And like I say, people thinking negatively probably can bring some negative things in. So it's been a bit of a mixed barrel. And that's
I think it's all in your mindset. But for a lot of people, it's stressful because, you know, they make you go down to 1% of your workforce. So you have to lay people off. And so people are losing their jobs. Like you said, everyone's stuck at home. There's an uprising not only in paranormal, but domestic violence and child abuse, so on and so forth. And it's a really scary, crazy thing. Like, people aren't used to doing this. People aren't used to being stuck in a box together, you know what I mean? And Mr. Bach is, like, all into this conversation, but it's insane what is happening and how people are taking it. And I'm just like, one day at a time. There was one day that I did cry and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here right now. But I got over it, carried on, and we're doing really good. You know, my daughter's gotten a letter of how good she's doing, and my son is going to be there shortly after. My 16-year-old, I have no more control over, really. I know this. I've realized this. That's what I need to do. But yeah, it's just been insane the way the world has gone. And now we're in a second upheaval, and like you said, Spanish influenza reminds me of that exactly. And I said this from the get-go. Spanish influenza, if you don't do it in the first place, wear your mask, stay at home, wear your gloves, wash your hands, whatever the hell you need to do to keep this from spreading. And they're saying masks really don't help, so on and so forth. But to me, take precautions, wear a freaking mask, try to protect yourself. It's insane. I don't know. Spanish influenza went through like 3 or 4 waves before it was finally gone, especially for Texas, because they would not go by the guidelines. Hell no, you're not going to burden our freedoms. If you would just listen the first time and get it over with, 14 days, that's all we need, and we're done.
Well, I think they've proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that covering your mouth stops the aerosol spraying as far out. So, but you've got to use those 3 things. You've got to wash your hands regularly, not touch your face, wear a mask, and keep your distance. It's no point wearing a mask and getting as close to someone as possible, because the aerosol, and as we know, the virus can fit through, you know, so we can get out unless they're wearing a hazmat suit or an N95 and goggles. You still probably transfer it on. But if you are standing 2 meters or 1 meter to 2 meters away and you cough, it's enough for it to stop the aerosol entering the air and going as far as that meter or 2 meters for the person to breathe in or get it into their eyes. So, you know, but people seem to be forgetting, like, oh, wearing a mask, but they're getting as close to people as possible. And you think, no, it's wash your hands, try not to touch your face and everything. Keep a mask on, but keep social distance as well. And I think people are just forgetting, you know, the mask won't stop you catching it, if it's there, but it might stop you getting someone else if you keep a good distance away.
You know what I keep thinking though? How did we ever survive all those close-knit concerts, moshing together, blood, spit, body fluids, okay? You can't tell me that there had to be some infected mofos out there and look, okay? I hate the mask. I have my foot down. It's
souvenir right there. I got a virus. That's my souvenir. Woot woot.
You know, I mean,
well, people dodge stuff from that, but it just happened to be a common cold or a little bit of a flu that most people have immunity to, or they've had a vaccine to. People did catch things at nightclubs and mosh pits and things like that. But when we've got a totally new strain or something, our body's just totally not used to, and it's a lottery. You can catch it, you can die or not die, or not even get any symptoms, and it's just, it's best to wear them like they do in surgery. They don't wear them to look cool.
Here's a good point.
Wear them so they don't pass stuff on.
Okay, Sleepy,
Here's
go
a
ahead,
good
and then I
story.
had something to add to.
Well, here's a good story, and I'm not saying it's good to do that. I'm just saying this story was from Billy Idol, and I saw it the other day on YouTube. He was up there on stage with Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols, and he was talking about the issue of the punks and spitting and how spitting started. And I think it was like an act. It was something that Johnny Rotten or somebody did to clear his throat, and it caught on with the kids. And he said, Billy Idol said that, like, their drum kits would be covered in goop and dried snot. He's like, man, people were getting
so gross.
This, that, left and right. He's like, but we lived through it, the immune system, whatever the hell he said. But can you imagine all those punk rockers just spitting and oh my God.
Oh yeah, I'd have an umbrella and I'd be close to the ground.
But it's just when you're intentionally doing that, but think though, I mean. And I think
gross.
of all the.
I would not go there.
Your immune system has to fight something, and to go and sterilize everything in the fucking environment is a bad idea. You got to fight it. I've had people who've, as you know, Tessa, people that I know who said they've had it, and I believe them. Okay, great. You've heard Dan that one time. I don't know if you were on the call. I know Mooney was. I mean, he sounded like he was dying. But
yeah.
I think it whatever. See, I've read a lot, and I don't want to go into it. And it's made me angry of what that the leaders are doing because of it. They're shutting down rights. You can't do this. They want to do vaccine, COVID passports. It's all bullshit. And
I keep hearing about this stuff, but I'm not going to let it freak me out until it's happening. Like, once it's happening, then I'll freak out. But right now, I'm just going to stay calm.
No, that's the thing. See, everybody thinks that because it's not happening in their neighborhood, in Texas, they're going door to door asking you to give samples of blood. Really? No.
It's kind of like the opposite of what's going on here. Like, this is Bayfield. Please kindly wear your mask, and it's everywhere. On all the stores, at the post office, wherever, you're supposed to wear your mask, and I can't count the number of people that aren't because they're Trumpers or whatever their thing may be. It's just like, this is why we're still going through this shit. Could you not cover your shit? And I know it could not be because they're saying unless it's an N95, it's not going to protect anybody. You're getting clean air in, but you're letting your air out. What?
I don't know why you're fucking picking on Trumpers as the only fucking people who don't wear masks.
It's because he was the one that was saying, don't worry about it. We got this all under control. We got it chopped off at the head is what he was saying, but he didn't. He was trying to be proactive and be positive, so on and so forth. But he's the one forever would not wear a mask, was saying not to wear a mask. Just go to work. It'll be fine. If you get sick, you'll be sick. You'll get over it. Go back to work. So many different things going on with that instead of doing the 14-day lockdown. And my 16-year-old daughter, knowledgeable enough, saying, Mom, if we had just done the 14-day lockdown, we'd all be over this. But we couldn't. We can't, as a whole, get on the same page because people have different beliefs or disbeliefs. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying anything bad about anyone as far as if you believe in Trump or Biden or whoever the fuck. Like, I didn't vote for either one of those guys, but they believed in what he said. So they're not wearing masks, and he ended up getting it and spreading it to his wife, his kids, his, closest people, so on and so forth, because he didn't want to put belief in it, If you put belief in it, it has power over you. Maybe that was his thought process, but in reality, it's not true. It's going to happen if it's going to happen, whether or not you're wearing masks, supposedly. So you could go in without, or you could go in with, So many people have said, I wore my mask all the time. I washed my hands. I wore gloves. I did this and that. And I still got it. So is it worth the whole strain of the brain? Everybody thinking their rights are being depleted, or just, using your common sense and doing it? Is it helping? Is it not? Like, it's really hard to find a common ground. But I do have to say that people that were following Trump did believe that this was not true, even though I watched it in Italy happening before it even hit here. It is actually happening. It's not something against Trump. This is a valid disease that was supposed to be put out experimentally and then brought back in, but it totally went out of control. You can't control something like this. It's insane what they're doing in the world. Still today. Like, there's so many crazy things going on. I cannot wrap my head around. And I kind of feel weird, like I'm talking to myself.
No, it is fascinating to me, though. I do think there is some sort of, we don't know the whole story. That's everyone, I'm not, at first I was like, I didn't deny its existence, but I'm like, there is no way that a couple of bats from a market in China friggin' disease.
I don't think it was that at all. I think it was something
no.
busted open.
But it is interesting to note that the Bill Gates, please don't come at me if there's somebody listening on this, but the
Elon Musk.
No, but the Bill Gates medical organization, I'm not sure what it's called. I'm going to have to look that back up. But that organization donated millions of dollars to that lab in Wuhan and are now possibly going to be creating the vaccine.
It was Bill Gates, Elon Musk, like so many different people with their little hands in the cookie jar in on this. Mm-hmm. It was not just China. It was so many different people. Mm-hmm. Still today, they're in on it. It's all in their hands. Do you trust them?
Where did Sleepy go?
I don't know. He might have got mad at me for saying Trumper. Not sure. Hopefully he comes back. Bone might have died. I don't know. But I explained it like, not that... This is what I call people that follow Trump. Like, they're the ones that believe this is really not happening. These are the ones with their little 8-month-old baby on their hip, not wearing a mask, not covering their kid's head, going through the store like, it's just the same old everyday shit going on. No, the fuck it's not. Like, this shit is real. For real. Real. This is real. I saw it in Italy, watched it, very sad. It was insane, the amount of bodies they're moving through the system and moving trucks into this facility so Catholic priests could do prayers and last rites over these people, then moving them out and reusing coffins. Go ahead, what?
Well, and my friend is Italian and his whole family was there, so, and he was scared to death. And not his whole family, everyone he knows, all of his friends, everyone, even his girlfriend got stuck. She couldn't come back to the United States. She's Italian and she could not come back to the United States during that whole ordeal. When she was in the thick of it too. She didn't get it, obviously, but I remember being worried for her and him being overly worried, and he couldn't be with her because he has a visa that allowed him to come back to the United States before they shut it down. And she was not able to. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but she got stuck there for months and couldn't leave, and he couldn't go in. So it was like terrible. But I'm reading these articles about blood type and the correlation. And from the beginning, I'm not sure what prompted this, but I had like a weird little, I don't know if it was a message or something that just, my guides or something that mentioned something about blood type and the coronavirus. So I would be very intrigued to know
there's a correlation between someone's blood type and the severity of COVID, and or certain blood types being carriers or asymptomatic or less symptoms or not
Well, is it
full-blown
kind
COVID.
of like the
It's
RH
just getting...
negative thing, or A
Yes,
positive,
I
or
did.
B negative, or
Mhm.
it's always something really strange, right?
But the
I don't
fascinating
know if you
part was
guys.
months ago, there was an article that I
Hold on one
read
second.
about it.
Go ahead, Mia.
Oh, there was months ago that I read an article with a graph and everything about it, and this was back in like May. And there seemed to be more information about the blood type thing before now. Now I look it up, and now all they talk about is O and RH, and it's contradicting information from what I had read a few months ago. And they had a whole chart and everything, like a graph of, you know, even where certain blood types were more located and you know, seem to be affected more by it. And I don't know, and I can't seem to find that anymore. And now it's actually contradicting it. It said something about people with O negative being highly susceptible to it. And now they're saying that O, and they don't say whether it's O negative or what. Now they're saying people are less likely to get it or less likely to be. It's just very strange how there seemed to be more information about blood type months ago than there is now. And what there is now, there's a lot more articles, but they all say the same thing about the RH, and they all seem to be contradicting and very, very vague. So you would think with the entire world and the scientists in every single country, you know, focusing on this, that they would focus on that a little bit more, that there would be more information. Because all we would want is, you know, the numbers, or just something. If somebody gets a very severe case, wouldn't you just write down their blood type and put it in the system? Like, it's just very interesting to me how there was more information then than there is now. But now there's more articles, but they're all extremely, extremely vague, and they don't really tell you anything.
Yeah, and Jason's saying, doubt the blood type matters, but it's funny how different things happen to different blood types. And I'd like to see the whole, like, graphs and whatnot on different blood types and how this virus does affect them. I'm sorry, there's hair everywhere. I think Baka's going through some sort of mating ritual. I'm like, oh my god, Baka, he's, like, been all up in my hair and everywhere. He's kind of freaking me out. But yeah, it's interesting how blood type does matter, like the RH negative, RH positive. These are alien blood, whatever you want to call it. Like, this is where the mother's blood and the child's blood will not mix, and they'll try to kill each other unless you get this antibody that they finally came up with. You cannot have your child. But it's intriguing how these people all come from this little place in South France or somewhere like that. A little nook in the cranny of some sort of valley crevice. All the same blood type. These can kill your children. It's like the whole blood system is working against each other. It's intriguing what's going on and why this cat is harassing me.
How's if you guys over there? So we got a little preliminary thing quite a few months ago, but I was already thinking about it because my mum did nursing and then retrained as a psychotherapist, and sometimes she works closely with people with COPD, breathing problems and whatnot. And the vitamin D3 supplementation helps with the mucuses and in the lungs and helps you breathe better. And there was a little bit about it quite a few months ago, and I was talking to my mum about it before it came out. And now they're very much pushing it, saying that people should be supplementing with vitamin D3, and especially now that the sun's gone down here, not so much in Australia where they're having their summer, but we're having our winter, so we need to be starting upping our D levels of D vitamins, and it's supposed to be helping considerably with COVID, and apparently it could stave it off, or at least make it less, virulent in your system. So I'm already taking it, and I've checked the values, and I've bumped mine up a little bit because I was low anyway previously years ago. But 4,000 IUs is the sort of ballpark figure most people should get away with, but apparently, so you can probably a lot more than that, but that's sort of the UK standard. Could be different everywhere, but I know saying that I'm not going to really get into trouble. I'm not offering any advice because I'm not a doctor.
Well,
that's what I read.
I'm vitamin D deficient. That's
really
why I
good.
broke my foot off, and I still have issues today. And I quit taking my vitamins about 2 months ago. I need to get back on that, and I have them in stowage. I need to just take them next to my bed so I can take them every night or every morning, whatever I decide to do. Because I couldn't take them in the morning. Yeah, for a while because it'd make me sick. So I'd take it at night, go to sleep. It could absorb and whatever, but sometimes it would give me restless sleep. But vitamin D for sure. And I think I get more than my kids do. Like my kids are in watching YouTube or playing on their tablets or doing whatever. And I'm out on the picnic table smoking, which is bad for me. But I'm still getting my vitamin D. It's so good and better than the pill form. But you still have to take that because you just don't get enough, whether you're working or in home or whatnot.
Highly absorbent liquid one, but I've got the other one as well because it was a good offer. But yeah, it's just funny. I was talking to my mum months ago about it, and because over the years, and she's always telling these people and the COPD patients are saying to the doctor specialist, "How come you not mentioned it?" They said, "Oh, sorry, yeah, it's really good to have. It thins the mucuses out and breathing better and that." And where the COVID attacks the lungs and things like that, and they're saying it's really good. And apparently the UK government, according to the news sources, are thinking about doling it out on free to people over 60 or something like that to try and help with this pandemic. But it was quite interesting to read, and I was quite glad that I was already on it from the doctors, but I got my own stuff because I get a higher amount. But I didn't know if anything had been published over there because I went straight on and was reading some medical studies that have been done here, there, and everywhere. I think there's one been done in a couple in America and Japan and I think Australia and whatnot. And I'm thinking it should be on the news. They should be saying to everybody, it's cheap, go out and buy it. And then I'm thinking, there's America and other places where you don't have a national health service like we've got here per se, and you pay extra insurances instead of just paying for your taxes. You pay extra for insurance. Is it not because it's so cheap? Is it not, making anybody any money, so they're not mentioning it? But hopefully a lot of people will hear this show, and you may as well top up your vitamin D levels, and if it helps against COVID, or if you, heaven forbid, ever caught it and it helps make it less virulent, then it's worth having. And like you say, a lot of people are, even when it is sunny, but especially now during the winter months. So get on that, I would say, as long as you're not allergic to any of the ingredients. It's not going to do you any harm, and it could do you the world of good.
Yeah, and it's crazy unless you get tested to know where your depletions are, but vitamin D is so big for all of us, and we don't even realize it unless, like I said, you get tested, you get the blood work, and it comes back, and you're like, holy shit, I had no idea. I didn't until I broke my foot off. Like, that was insane. I would have rather known before than after. But it's so important to take your vitamins, eat right, and it's so hard with the way producers and everything are making things. So many things that we eat are bad for us, especially in the U.S., where our food is illegal in so many countries, probably yours too. It's insane what we're able to eat. It's kind of like we're meant for slaughter. Like, it doesn't matter what we eat. We're going to die in the end anyways, right? Or the sooner we die, the better. Could that be population manipulation? As far as storms and food, so on and so forth, different diseases, heart disease, so many different things. Or is it just reality?
Yeah, I find it funny when talking to American friends that It's called the Standard American Diet, or SAD. So yeah, it's very much is a sad diet. Get told that Monsanto were very much making sure everybody gets genetically modified wheat and everything, and they don't allow the farmers to grow anything else, and they penalise them and all sorts of things. But that's what we get told over here. Whether it's true or not, only you guys know, I suppose.
Man, I'm sorry. This cat is like creating a little tiny natural disaster in my office.
It's absolutely perfect.
Perfect. Yeah, he thinks so. Look, he's cleaning up, perfectly happy with what he's done. Right? Catastrophe. Oy vey. But
Actually,
it is so.
I just found out they had travel-sized bidets.
Oh, my.
And well, I'm just thinking if we're going to be continuing this whole toilet paper crisis, might not be a bad idea to get one. And not only that, you save your tissue, you save the planet, less waste, less paper.
Could we just not get a Dibbit box with a mischievous spirit that likes the white bottoms? That's
There it goes. Look at it go.
Don't buy a used one.
No, not a recycled one.
Yeah.
With the stain still on
Typhoid
the paper
Mary.
in the box.
I'm sure you could find one on Craigslist somewhere. Don't buy a Craigslist bidet, please.
I'm okay.
Was a cloakroom attendant in a past life.
Oh.
Free lollipop with every wipe. Paranormal toiletries.
Paranormal toiletries. Yeah,
that actually has a ring to it.
Holy crap.
Yeah, hopefully not a dirty ring after the finish wiping.
I can't believe my brother Greg, I haven't talked to him in years, and his wife Ashley are trying to call me right now. I have to ignore it because I'm in a call. I have 17 minutes and 50 seconds left. Oh my gosh. I can't believe they're trying to call me. That's so weird. I have not talked to them in like 3 years. What the crack is happening? I'm scared. Oh no.
You almost did an Arnold Schwarzenegger impression there, but that's very
Come with me if you want
to. She never texts me though.
Go to the chopper.
Could just be in the air.
Go to the chopper.
It's not a tuber.
It's not a tumor. Hi. Oh my god. Okay, so can we go another hour longer? Because I don't want to know what that is. I'm in denial. Holy shit tards. I'm scared.
That's not just a place in Egypt, everybody.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Carry on. Drink a coffee. Talk amongst yourselves.
Carry on. There'll be
peace when you are done. Where you're
lay your head to rest. Don't you cry no more.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun,
Dun, dun, dun, dun.
I don't think. Good job.
We gotta start a she band. That's it.
Yeah. I'll learn to beatbox.
Anywho's, yeah, that's weird. So I'm trying not to get distracted about this call. That is so weird. I feel like I should answer. If I don't answer, I'm doomed. But we have T-minus 16 minutes and counting before we go off air. Is there anything else that we have not talked about tonight that you guys have on your mind as far as the paranormal that you'd like to talk about? We'll start with the closest to me, Mia Savage. Savage.
That's funny. My friend always says that. Savage.
Mia Savage, a.k.a. Savage.
That's what she says. It's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Well, something that's been on my noggin, I don't know, just randomly popped in my head before this whole thing is manifestation. And not kind of just like law of attraction and visualization and stuff. I think more people need to kind of visualize
what they want instead of looking at what they don't have. And personally, it's worked for me. And I'm in the process of trying to manifest something. And it's fun. It's kind of like, when your mind goes off on some sort of a fantasy in your head, make it fun. I don't know, do something fun. Don't just be like, okay, I won $1 million. And I mean, you can do that too, but it's kind of cool. Manifest.
If this is really real, then do this. That's what I like to do.
Like, I want to check for, $300 million. Visualize, okay, what would I do if I had that? And you kind of visualize, because I don't know, it's just fun. It's fun. And I just wanted to know maybe your thoughts on manifestation. Does it work? Or do you have any stories or anything? Well, I'll tell you one.
Okay.
Okay.
You first.
So my manifestation. So I've always kind of believed in it and stuff, but I have a friend who, for some reason, when we were together and we were in that mode, we could manifest like instantly. So at one point we were like, okay, we need because we had just moved into a new apartment together. We were roommates at the time. And I'm like, okay, we need to find we're both kind of I don't know, not girly girls. So we're like, we need some dude friends. We need some we need
less
some dude
drama.
friends that are not dramatic.
Yeah,
and they're not
less
trying
drama.
And they're also not creepy and trying to sleep with us all the time or whatever.
Yeah.
And so we're like, okay, so we need a Gemini and a Sagittarius, right? Because I'm just thinking of two really fun signs, right? So I was like, okay, we need a Gemini and a Sagittarius, and because we need friends around here, and they have to be guys because they're just easier to get along with, and they can't be creepy and weird. That night, we were at the hot tub, and we met a Gemini and a Sagittarius. And to this day, we are still friends with them. And they were so fun. And then we're they're, just our good guy friends.
And did you ever get that? We were all the girls were like, she's a whore. She hangs out with the guys. She's such a whore. She probably sleeps with them all. And I'm like, no, bitch, you're drama and I can't handle your shit. And these guys are cool and I like hanging out with them. Doesn't mean I'm sleeping with them. But you want to think to sleep at night, jeez, oh Pete.
Well, you're a Sagittarius too, so it's same thing. We don't play catty games,
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I have very masculine qualities in a way, just I don't understand a lot of things. I don't play the girl games, I don't even know what they are. And occasionally, I'll be hanging around a girl, she'll say something to me, and I'm like, is that what girls do?
What the fuck is that? I know. I had three brothers and one sister, and I just relate.
On his shirt before he leaves, things like that. I'm like,
oh yeah. It'll make him think of you later. He'll be like, what the fuck is that smell on my shirt? I gotta wash that out. Everybody's gonna think I'm a pansy.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so that was just one example. Another time we were like, okay, we need a cat, right? We just randomly were like, okay, we need a cat. We need a cat really bad. We were about to go to band practice. We open the door and a cat runs in the house, just manifesting things instantly with her only. I wish I could do that alone. I can't do that alone, but we did stuff like that all the time. And I think that there's a vibration, an energy vibration where you can kind of manifest things. But that was my story. Strange, I know.
Yeah. Well, I was just so, freaked out, something's going on with my brother and my sister-in-law. Okay, never heard from her. Then she's like, would you like to buy into this whole at-home business kit where you sell jewelry, blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, chick, I can't afford to even pay, rub 2 pennies together. I cannot afford this. I can't even afford to pay attention. Okay, whatever. And she's like, no worries. I was just going to see if I paid for your paparazzi kit if you think you could sign up and tell you happy late birthday, of course. But yeah, whatever. Okay, so now I'm no longer worried about that call. I thought my brother might have had a heart attack. He had open heart surgery. He had 3 different valves that are weird. I get weird palpitations of my heart and different things going on. Have not gone in for surgery, but he had 4 different canals fixed. So I thought that's what it was, but now I know it's just paparazzi jewelry. I've shared her on my page. If you guys are interested, go ahead and buy her shenanigans. But yeah, like I said, I can't even afford to pay attention, so let's carry on, my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more. Okay, Mia. No, just kidding. We got Rick, we got SleepyDave, and Robert, who are so patiently quiet and so preserved. Do you guys have anything you'd like to share tonight before we go off the interwaves?
Rob? Rob's not jumping in, so I will. Really, I was going to say that I'm hoping to gear up and do a lot more ITC things. Just the illness and whatnot sort of hindered me a little bit, various things. But I was thinking of maybe, I know Bill does some live stuff for you every now and again. I was hoping maybe to run a little bit, perhaps during one of the monthly shows, and perhaps maybe not next time, maybe in a couple of months' time. Who knows? We'll discuss it. But perhaps as a collective group, put some questions down and can put them out there and see what we get, and maybe even can record it before the show. Maybe not even do it live, or we can discuss that, whatever. But and just see if we can get maybe a bit of a collective circle of energy going with the people on the show, and see if we can get something interesting recording and come through. So it's just an idea. We can always
I'd love to do that, and we could do that on any individual night, just not doing it on the Paradox Paranormal Forum. Like, this would be a whole night in itself, I would think. So whatever works for you, just let me know. But I would love to do something like that, because that stuff is so intriguing to me. There's so much different stuff that comes through on there, and could be intelligent, could be residual. It's up to you to find out what it is, really. But it's very intriguing to me. I really love that stuff. And I know I use the word interesting and intriguing a lot, but, they're my favorite. But it is intriguing. Like, I want to know more. Tell me more.
Over to you, Rob.
Tell me more.
Like, does he have a car? I feel like I'm going through a replay of another show. Tell me more. Did you get very far?
It's feeling a bit greasy.
Yeah. I was in that play and I got scratched by the drama teacher. She grabbed me by the arm and scratched me with her fucking claw. And I was like so traumatized. I was like, oh my god, she like scratched my skin up. Yeah, she was a bitch. But it was fun. I loved it.
So, next month,
the Pink Ladies.
Going to be Christmas, aren't we?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just for New Year special for them.
Really? Well, if it's the 29th today, it'll be about the 27th.
Yeah, let's get out of this year together.
Things have been so weird. It seems like New Year should be right upon us, but we have still another month to go before the New Year. But it feels like it's right there, right? There's that anxiety and that pressure and that change feeling. Something's about to churn.
Let's hope so.
What the hell?
If 2021 says hold my beer, we're out of here.
Oh, yeah. Jem posted on our We Are Paradox Media page and the Four Corners Paranormal page. If you thought 2020 was bad, just look what Nostradamus had to say about 2021. And I have not read it because, like I said, I like to prevent trauma obstructions to my brain hole because I can only handle so much. But yeah, I haven't read it yet. I'm looking forward to reading it. Just haven't done it yet. Haven't had time.
But could the very fact of reading it and injecting that energy into it make it so?
Make it reality. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Have you guys read it? Did you see what it said? Because I didn't, but I'm just like, oh my God, I can't handle anymore. What is he about to say? Well, in 2021, cannot handle it. I hate odd numbers, but let's see.
How far did he go forward?
Simpsons 2021 episode.
Oh my God.
Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, they've only got 3 fingers and a thumb, is it?
I'm so afraid.
Just don't look at it.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you used to.
Indeed.
Welcome to the paranormal karaoke session.
Yes. T-minus 5 seconds.
I go.
We're all good. We got that out of the way. Now let's carry on to other things. Okay, so minutes and 5 seconds. Oy, there's so much shit to cover. So, what do you guys think? Are we really on the precipice of like a World War III? Are we just like, floundering in our shenanigans? What the hell's going on? Is this real? Is this fake? What are your thoughts? We'll start
with a major world war against the virus, which I think we're hopefully going to win with all these vaccines. And I hope there's not going to be a war with guns, but there's very much been a war with this virus. So let's hope that's the last one in our lifetime.
If the world war comes, or if something comes where I feel like we're facing inevitable death, I will find the strongest and most comfortable drug to do. I will peacefully fade away and go into oblivion and go back to my home planet where I am happy. So maybe it that way. Your soul will be returned home if something bad happens. I don't see it happening. I have never really practiced the whole foresight thing, so I can't say that I can predict anything. I have, but everyone has, so I can't say that that's one of my strong suits.
Yeah, and JoJo the Slap Boy is like, no World War III yet. No, but this little girl went to heaven and saw it and then came back and told us about it. So, what? Intriguing. Interesting. What is really happening? Is this the real? Or what? All right.
I do feel like, according to astrology, 2022 is actually supposed to be a good year. So if 2022 is going to be a good year, then that means that it probably won't happen between now and then.
That's astrology. A good idea. I like that. Well, how can people get a hold of each one of you? Mia Savage, Robert White, Rick Kirkby, SleepyDave Davenport, to ask you any questions or to be your friend.
Just Robert White on Facebook. Look me up. I have a picture of a ballooned kookaburra as the avatar.
Very nice. Next. Well, you guys, an easy thing is to look on my friends list and look up Mia, Sad, Kirkby, whoever else, and then go from there. That's an easy way to do it. But thank you guys so much again for being my guests on the Paradox Paranormal Forum. Robert, Rick, Mia, Sleepy. It was awesome to have you guys on Late Night in the Rockies.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
I love to be had.
Such a pleasure.
We all do, right? It's so nice. And thank you to all of our friends on We Are Paradox Media's Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, iHeartRadio, and wherever else you may be listening beyond the Omniverse tonight. I had a wonderful time this evening, and I can't wait to do it again tomorrow night when we have crazy-ass Mr. Patrick Cross on. We're going to be talking about the paranormal, heebie-jeebies, so on and so forth. It's going to be insane. It's going to be fun. It's going to be eclectic. It's going to be out of this world. Out of this world.
Yeah, why be normal when you can be paranormal?
Right? Where else can you be paranormal but here? But you guys, don't forget, all this together, here we can make the world a little better. And together, my friends, we are Paradox Media, because without you, there is no us. If you'd like to join us on the Skype after party, look me up at tessa.n.thomas30.